absolutely nuts. Question before you get into and introduce everybody to Gary. By the way, we are taking phone calls like last year. If you've got a weather question about winter, we're only going through spring. We're not doing summer and fall. Not yet. We'll do that in the spring. But you guys probably already know what's going to happen this summer, fall.
An idea.
Yeah, an idea. 701-293-9000. That's our Thor Building studio line, post frame construction for ag and commercial industry. Best building on the planet. 701-293-9000. You can email us, studio@wdayradionow.com. That's our Tyler's Tree Service inbox. All your tree needs go to tylerscut.com. Okay. So before you get into this, I got to ask you real quick, Gary, are more and more people in your world, meteorologists and others, are they starting, phone lines are already lighting up, are they starting to look at this and follow what you're doing and say, okay, you know what, this guy isn't whacked out, this guy is onto something? Because I know around here, meteorologists, you know, they don't like to go long range. Anything for them past 3 days is long range. And even last year, there were meteorologists in this community that were making comments. Well, you know, that was a surprise system. You know, the April storms we got last year, that was a surprise. And my boys here are going, what surprise? We told you about this, man. I know that you forecasted Hurricane Ian way out. Are more and more people starting to get on board with you, Gary?
Absolutely. First of all, Jay, it's great to see you. I haven't seen you yet, so it's great to meet you in person today. You know, you've got a presence. You're amazing. You're dynamic. You're incredible.
Oh, stop it!
Shows.
You don't want him to stop it.
Oh boy, no, I don't, man. I don't. Well, I appreciate
I'm
that.
serious.
Man. I appreciate
you have a
that,
presence.
brother.
It's amazing. I know you're well known, but it's great to see here you guys, and we'll go over the winter forecasts. I'd love to take in some calls on. There's a buzz going around North Dakota. There's a buzz going around South Dakota and Minnesota. We have some agriculture interest, farmers and other businesses quite interested. There's a buzz going on in Louisiana and in New Orleans. Not only did we predict Hurricane Ian to affect areas between Fort Myers and Tampa Bay, and predicted 10 months before.
Wow.
And especially 6 months before in our press release. But we also predicted something very important that the LRC is able to do. We predicted that Texas and Louisiana would have no risks of a hurricane this season. And they had not even a hint of a risk. So that should give people peace of mind. Businesses can plan for when there's not going to be a hurricane, just as importantly as there is to plan for the hurricane. Unfortunately, that did strike Florida in a major disaster. One of our big customers for Weather 2020 is Operation Barbecue Relief, and they got the forecast 6 months before, and they were in position. They served over 800,000 meals to the folks affected by that hurricane. And so there's a lot of advantage. But yes, there is a buzz going around, and the LRC, you know, I'll let Dean and Justin talk about it, but it is it's growing, but it's still growing. It's a innovative new technology. But as you've experienced it, 2 winters in a row, we're going to make it 3 winters in a row. We've gotten it right. It's not been absolutely perfect, but very close to. And I'll let you guys talk to that.
All right, Dean, go. I'm going to let you jump in here.
Sure.
And
So I mean, Gary's been he's.
by the way, callers will get you. Don't lose your spot. 701-293-9000. Callers, hang on. We're going to get to you.
So Gary turned me on to this LRC, and same as you. I was skeptic at first. I said, "There's, you know, we didn't learn about this in school, but mark my words, this will be taught in universities here within the next 5 to 10 years." Guarantee it, because you can't turn your head from it. It's fact. So, so the LRC, if you're new to this to our station here and you're just tuning in, the LRC, it's called the Lezak Recurring Cycle. Gary Lezak founded this many years ago when he was working down in Oklahoma City, and I can let Gary explain that a little bit later. But it's basically a cycling method to weather forecasting, long-term weather forecasting. As Gary put it once, he goes, listen, astronomers can forecast to the second eclipse, stuff like that. Why can't we forecast weather long-term? And Sure enough, the weather pattern does cycle each year. Each year is different. The new LRC cycle sets up right around October 6th when the sun sets at the North Pole. And what we'll do is right around that date, we'll look at the upper air patterns, see what they look like, and we'll wait for that same pattern or very similar pattern to come back around. When it does, we know the cycle is set. And then we can predict those storms, and we can mark those to the day when they will cycle back around through the winter and spring and summer and even into the following early fall. Each year is different. As last year we had about a 62-day cycle, 63, right around there. And this year every year is different. Every year has the length of the cycle is different, which makes each year unique. Yeah. If you remember last year, we had such a stormy October and November. The first part of that cycle was so wet. Yeah. And so then we could accurately predict for the farming community that, hey, we're going to have a wet spring. You're probably going to have a late planting start to the year. And we could also accurately forecast the blizzards that hit in April, which did. We could forecast
severe weather threat too.
Yep,
we pegged that one right for our area in the middle of April.
Yep, we could. Yeah, the severe weather that we had in December. We predicted a severe weather outbreak as close by as Minnesota in December, and sure enough, that's what panned out.
First time in history too.
Yep.
For tornadoes
in
Minnesota.
The LRC cycling method is probably it's the most accurate way to forecast long term.
It's nuts.
If you can forecast,
I couldn't believe it.
If you can forecast Hurricane Ian 10 months in advance, that's unheard of.
Let me jump in real quick. Gary, because you were able to do Hurricane Ian 10 months plus other hurricanes as well, has the National Hurricane Center, I believe that's what it's called, have they contacted you? Any of these bigger organizations? NOAA said, hey, Gary, we really want to sit down with you because what you're doing here is something special, and it's the real deal.
Well, you know, Dean said it all. It's like in the next 5 or 10 years, maybe it's 20 years, Dean. I don't know when it's going to be taught at universities, because the universities and the government agencies, you're saying, are they going to come and talk to me about it? Not yet. I think the success of Weather 2020 and the LRC is going to get us there, but they're afraid. This is a paradigm shift in meteorology. Yeah. And for you farmers out there, we have a way of predicting all these things that Dean just said. And it does set up around October 6th or so. And Dean, just to correct you a little bit, the sun sets at the North Pole every year on the first day of autumn, which is September 23rd.
My bad. Okay.
Then October 5th, 6th, or 7th is actually when it goes dark at the North Pole. And so it's dark for almost 6 months. And that's about the time that the LRC sets up. This year we'll identify around October 6th as day one of the cycling pattern. And now we're into that. This storm that is heading towards North Dakota in the next few days, this next storm in the next week is going to be a significant storm. I don't know if you're going to have a blizzard, but you might. And you need some moisture anyway, but you're going to get it. And it's directly related to a storm that happened in October and predicted already. So we're already starting the season off with predicting a significant storm. Last year we had the December 10th and December 15th very large storms that were impacting with the Mayfield, Kentucky tornado. 56 people were killed in the Mayfield, Kentucky tornado on December the 10th. Rare December outbreak. It does happen in the South, but as Justin said, it happened up in Minnesota as well. Then on December 15th, we had a derecho and we had some more bad weather. But we then predicted on Weather 2020, we can go look at our past blog, we predicted that Mayfield, Kentucky would possibly be the target again, definitely in the southeast region around Kentucky, for another tornado right around April 13th. And on April 13th, Mayfield, Kentucky got hit by another tornado. 2 tornadoes predicted the second one. Sharon Springs, Kansas. It's a town of maybe 10 blocks wide. Okay, it's got Main Street and 10 other blocks. That's it. A small little town in western Kansas. They got hit by an EF1 tornado on October 12th a year ago. And what happened? As Dee was talking about, 63, 64-day cycle, 192 days later, Sharon Springs, Kansas got hit by a tornado again. So the LRC is able to predict down to that scale. A tornado, not every tornado is going to return and hit the same spot twice, but it's the most likely spot to hit that region for sure.
You know,
we're predicting tornadoes.
They always say, you know, a blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while. This isn't that. It's not, you know, people may be, well, yeah, okay, if you predict enough, you're going to get something right. No, this LRC of yours, Gary, it's one home run right after another and months out. It's just mind blowing that weather can be predicted that far out, and how you were able to come across this years ago. Bridgette Readel, our ag director, what does this technology or this knowledge, what does this mean for farmers and ranchers?
Well, so that's some of the stories I have up on my screen right now, but I want you to think about it this way. If you're already buying seed this year, do you have to make any decisions that it's going to be wetter or drier, and that means swapping out soybeans for sunflowers? Are you going to think about disease packages? Do you want to look for better white mold ratings on the soybeans that you're buying? We now see if we find more southerly winds that are coming this direction, will we see tar spot blow in from Minnesota? Should we look at tar spot ratings in corn? What does it mean for later planting? And also for those livestock producers. If you're tracking that weather and you know that there's a significant storm coming, and you have to plan to have more hay on hand, more feed stuffs, you have to set up shelter for wind, et cetera, you can be thinking ahead about all of that. And it's not like, 24-hour notice is enough. Usually it takes a bit more time to get ready if you've got 300, 400 head of cows.
Let me run over to Justin Storm real quick. Justin, you're kind of new to this industry. I mean, for someone like you, I mean, this was nothing that was ever taught in college. When you first heard about the LRC, what was your first thoughts on it, and what do you think of it now?
You know, when Dean first introduced me to the idea of what the LRC was, I was like, no, there's no way. Weather is chaos. There's no pattern that comes around, and a storm system comes through. It doesn't return, 50 days later or whatever. Sure enough, proved me wrong. Started getting obsessed with it, and now all I do is just stare at these maps, and now we're making accurate forecasts 6 months out in advance, while other people are struggling to get what day 7 is going to be. Sure. Is it going to snow or is it going to rain? It's just absolutely fascinating. It blows my mind that something like this is possible, and it's just really fun to be on that leading edge of something that's just going to be taking over the area. But I wanted to go back to a comment you had made towards Gary. Some people would say, a blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while. Well, how is this for a bold prediction from the LRC last year? Was the hurricane season was going to be below average. Gary in Weather 2020 was one of two organizations, agencies that said it would be a below average hurricane season. And Gary, how did this hurricane season play out in the Atlantic Ocean?
Well, remember a couple things interesting about that. The LRC sets up around October 6th. So believe it or not, hurricane season right now for next summer has already started. What has happened in October and November is actually an indication in seeds that are planted for next hurricane season that will resurface once the water temperatures warm up again. So this year we predicted the below average season. Barcelona Supercomputing Center, in Barcelona, Spain, they tracked 30 different organizations. And there's a line that shows the average number. It's actually an average energy, which is 122. It's called the accumulated cyclone energy, or ACE prediction. 122 is an average for a season. We predicted about 85, actually 65 to 110, but 85, 90 in the middle. It ended up being about 90 below that average line, and all other organizations on that chart were all showing way above average seasons. So we predicted it. And the reason we were able to do that is last October and November, a year ago, hurricane season that was so active the year before shut off. So that was the first sign it was going to be a quiet hurricane season. We made the forecast. We predicted 2 to 4 named storms that would make landfall in the United States. There were 2. We predicted 2 major hurricanes. There were only 2. Everyone else predicted 4, 5, or 6. And then that ACE score, and plus Texas and Louisiana being missed, and the prediction of Hurricane Ian. We thought there would only be 2 landfalling storms for real. One of them was Ian. The other one went off the east coast of Florida, thank goodness. And that one was Earl. That was also one of our predictions, but it curved out to sea. So we did pretty good on that prediction.
Gary, before I grab a couple calls here, Does the LRC, okay, so when you guys are doing LRC, the Lezak recurring cycle, is it the same up here as it is? I mean, how does this work for the rest of the country or overseas? I mean, is it this isn't just an America thing, right?
Gary,
thing.
Yep, Gary's got he's got clients in, I believe, Australia and Europe. He's got clients all over the globe. So the LRC is not just a local thing. It's not just a United States thing. It's global.
That's crazy.
Let me one of these customers, real quick. Do we have time?
Yeah. Go ahead, Gary.
Okay. One of our customers that's coming in right now is a car wash company. And they're a pretty big car wash company. They own 120 car washes. They want to grow. And they want to predict traffic flow in and out of car washes week by week so they can predict supply, staffing. I would never have thought about that 2 years ago. A company in Slovenia, which is just northeast of Italy, if you wonder where that is, I had a meeting with them last Friday. They want precipitation forecasts 6 weeks out. And our forecasts at 6 weeks out to 100 days out, week by week for precipitation, are more accurate than the 7-day forecast that's on your app.
Wow.
So we have companies from around the world coming in, and it's going to snowball, Jay, in the next year. It's going to happen.
Wow. I mean, I'm just picturing all these industries. What if you're like Live Nation, one of the biggest concert people in the country, and you handle a lot of outdoor venues? They'd be crazy not to be hooked up with you, Gary, and your organization, Weather 2020, because, I mean, they go, hey, look, we're looking at doing, Shania Twain outside in Louisiana. What are we looking at here? I mean, there's just so many applications for this. All right, Mike, you've been waiting a long time. You're up on the Jay Thomas Show.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I just first want to give a shout out to the best weather team in the Valley, and great work, Gary. My question is, if this is all data and formula driven, I know you have a blog right now. I was wondering if this is all data and formula driven. Do you imagine that you'll have like a website where you can type in a zip code and just get that reoccurring cycle data or information forecasted?
Yeah, we've had a couple of projects like that. There's going to be a wedding or event planner where you can just put in Bob and Mary, Chicago, Illinois, August 13th, click and you get your forecast. So that's one thing that's going to happen. We also have a proprietary model with a dashboard, and our model is global. As Jay was wondering, it is global. And to answer Jay's question for earlier, the pattern over the entire northern hemisphere is cycling regularly according to the LRC. So what's happening in Slovenia is not necessarily the same thing that's happening in Fargo, North Dakota, but the same pattern is cycling across the whole northern hemisphere. So there's another cycle in the southern hemisphere. But we do have a model, and I share some of that data. I try to get down to county level. For those of you, if you haven't joined already, you can go to weather2020.substack.com. That's weather2020.substack.com. And it's just $50 a month or $300 for an entire year, which is a big discount. And I just posted the winter forecast. So go and check that out, and you'll see the winter forecast I just posted for paying customers only. But yes, we're going to have things like that. For now, customers can come in, like this company in Slovenia. They're a startup. They probably won't have to pay that much, but they will get the data and use the data and make decisions based on that data and impact their business in a positive way.
Mike, appreciate the phone call, 701-293-9000. You're listening to the Winter Weather Outlook Special, brought to you exclusively by Jiffy Lube of Fargo, locally owned and operated, 3 convenient Fargo locations. You never need an appointment. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy. Gary Lezak with us for this weather special. He is the gentleman that has founded the LRC cycle. Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki is with us, meteorologist Justin Storm, and our head of ag, the best in the business, Bridgette Readel, in here as well, taking your phone calls in between whatever topic we're going to jump on soon here. We'll start giving some Outlook stuff. Judy is in Moorhead. Hey, Judy, you're up on a Jay Thomas Show.
Hey guys, thanks for doing a good job. I'd like to find out what's the weather going to be like for December 21st. I got appointments and I've been canceling a couple because of the weather.
Where's your appointment at, Judy?
Down on University.
Okay, here in town. Okay, we just needed to know what town it was in. So it's here in Fargo. We don't want you to have to keep canceling that appointment, Judy. Hold on.
Yeah,
Dino's taking a look right here.
So we've got. You said that was.
There's a major storm. I think there's a major storm. Look at early November.
So when was it?
December?
When was
December?
When was the date, Judy?
December 21st.
December 21st.
Yeah. So I don't know, Dean, I don't know if you can see it, but Justin, you probably could look. There's a significant storm, but it looks like it might go south of you. So it's something to monitor.
So there'll be a storm in the area, but looks like it could be going to the south of us.
Yeah.
All right.
Where I'm at in Kansas City.
Does that help?
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Judy. Appreciate the phone call. If you're trying to get through, I have an open line right now, 701-293-9000. Zach, Pelican Rapids, you're on the way. Brian in South Fargo, you're coming up. Let's go to Jerry in Moorhead. Jerry, you're up on a Jay Thomas Show on the Winter Weather Outlook Special.
Yeah, I was just curious. I don't need to find a date. I'm just wondering if, like, NASCAR or Major League Baseball can use your program to set the schedules for next year, because then they'll know not to schedule a game in Milwaukee if they know it's going to be raining all weekend.
No, they'll know not to schedule a football game in Buffalo. They would have just listened to Gary.
That's going to cycle back through, too. But, one story real quickly on that, two things. One, back in 2014 is really when I really started looking forward instead of going, can't you see this looks like 30 days ago, 50 days ago, 60 days ago? And I started looking forward. So we made a prediction that was highly publicized in the New Jersey papers because the outdoor Super Bowl in East Rutherford, New Jersey was on February the 4th, I believe, 2014. And 28 days before the game, we predicted, because I knew enough about the LRC by January, so we put a press release out and it got publicized. We predicted no chance of snow and temperatures warming up into the 50s leading into the game. And that was in a very cold winter. It was brutally cold. Other agencies were predicting brutal cold and snowstorms, even 5 days before. But I slept easy because I knew what was going to happen. And what happened? Denver played Seattle. I believe Seattle won that game and won the Super Bowl. And it was 55 degrees at 3 o'clock in the afternoon with no snow. Pretty good.
That's really good. Hey, Zach in Pelican Rapids, you're up on the Winter Weather Outlook Special on the Jay Thomas Show.
Yeah, it's winter outlook. Is there any transference into summer outlook? I'm a concrete contractor in the lakes area, and, rain and, that kind of thing just is, it governs the whole process.
Yeah.
Is there any,
Can you throw Zach a bone, guys?
Well, come on, there's shortages and everything's hiking up, and then we got to deal with rain too, right? Yeah. I'm just wondering how that transfers. Is it going to get more accurate? I am on the, that WDY, storm tracker app and stuff, and it seems to be working well for me.
It's not us.
That's not us. Yeah, that's a different app. That's not our app. That's the TV station's app. What can you guys do for Zach and the concrete people?
Well, to answer his question, yes, the LRC can go out into the summer months, and Justin and I will be putting together. We have it all the way through about April right now, but we will be forecasting and putting our calendar on our website. We'll be putting a story out there probably within the next 2-3 weeks. Maybe a little longer, but for the late spring and through the summer on when any big storms may be coming through. So just check our website or just shoot us an email, weather@flagfamily.com, and we'll take care of you.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem, Zach. Appreciate it.
Before we go to break, because we got a break coming up here in a few minutes, Gary, I wanted to touch real quick.
Hang on, callers.
I want to touch real quickly on next week's storm. Now, in the first cycle, when this rolled through, it rolled through in two pieces. Because I've had a couple people ask me, was this in the LRC first cycle? I said it was, but in the first cycle, we only picked up 0.13 of an inch of precip with this storm that's coming through next week. It split into two pieces. One piece went through Canada, one piece went through the central southern plains during the LRC cycle 1. Why is this system so much stronger? It's there. It's still there according to the LRC, but it's so much stronger and displaced a little further north this time. Why is that?
Put up that LRC puzzle again. You got the LRC, which is the centerpiece of the big atmospheric puzzle. The storm is going to be right on schedule. A couple things happening. There's other influences such as the Arctic Oscillation, the AO, and the North Atlantic Oscillation, the NAO. Enzo, which is El Nino and La Nina. And La Nina is about to go through a dying phase here during the winter, which is going to be interesting. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. But there are other influences on the LRC, but the LRC will be the biggest piece, and it predicts when the storm is going to happen. Now, what's the difference between December and October? The jet stream is caused by temperature contrast. So in October, it might be 20 degrees in central Canada and 90 degrees in Texas, or a 70-degree contrast, and the jet stream's a certain strength. In December, it might be minus 20 degrees in central Canada, minus 30 degrees in central Canada, and 80 or 90 degrees in South Texas or Mexico. And you have a 120-degree contrast. It causes the jet stream to get stronger.
I got to cut you because we had to go do a hard break because we're simulcasting on our other radio station. You can finish it when we come back. Callers, I know you're waiting to get on. Callers, hang on. We're going to grab you on the other side. The weather special, the outlook special, the Jay Thomas Show on WDAY AM 1100 The Flag.
Weather can be hard on a vehicle, especially in Minnesota and North Dakota. That's why servicing your vehicle is so important. At Jiffy Lube of Fargo, they make it easy for you with their signature service oil change. They'll check, change, inspect, and fill essential fluids, helping your vehicle make it through these cold, harsh winters. Locally owned and operated with 3 convenient Fargo locations. You never need an appointment. And at Jiffy Lube of Fargo, they can help with batteries, tire rotation, along with light bulb and wiper blade replacement. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy.
Bored with the same old menu, the same old fixtures? It's time to establish new traditions like we have at Traditions Restaurant and Bar. They have great breakfast items like their Frenchata Toast, Eggs Benny, and their Bloody Mary. Wow! Traditions has multiple happy hours, a new party room where you can celebrate occasions, big or small. They have darts, blackjack, pool, electronic pull tabs, and a liquor store to take the party home. Start a new tradition at Traditions Restaurant and Bar, conveniently located at 3330 Cheyenne Street South in West Fargo.
Do you have money in the bank or the stock market? Do you check the balance often? Why wouldn't you do the same for your biggest asset, your home? If you want to know right now what you could sell your home for in this hot market, go to FargoHomeValues.com. Type in any address and find out instantly. You might be surprised how much you could get for your home. Again, that website is FargoHomeValues.com, or call me, John Nosala, for a personal valuation. Find out more at JKPropertyPartners.com.
Do you run diesel? ATI Fargo has bulletproofing on your 6.0 vehicles. Looking to get fleet work done? ATI Fargo has you covered. They have fuel system disaster prevention kits for your 6.7 Power Strokes. ATI Fargo can get your Cummins head studded and never think of it again. Do you own a business and need quick turnaround on repairs? Call ATI Fargo. Stop in at 2764 44th Avenue North in Fargo. Running diesel? Check out ATI Fargo and give them a call at 218-639-5017.
Do you suffer from dental pain, your mouth hurts, or broken teeth? Is dental pain keeping you from feeling your best? Do you suffer from dental anxiety or fear of the dentist? Please listen carefully to find out if you're a candidate for our unique approach to get rid of your dental anxiety, heal your pain, and restore your smile. Find out now by calling 701-515-9850. Dr. Werman has been treating patients with dental anxiety for over 18 years. Our office uses the latest dental technology and anesthetic solutions to keep you comfortable, at ease, and relieve your pain. If you put off necessary dental treatment, your dental pain won't go away. It can lead to serious health problems and complete tooth loss. So call now to see if you qualify at 701-515-9850. Again, 701-515-9850. 9850. Call now to relieve your pain and restore your smile today.
The famous chips, the potato chip, the chocolate chip, the computer chip, the poker chip, the paint chip, and the windshield chip. Glass Doctor of Fargo Moorhead wants to remind you that the difference in temperature outside and inside your vehicle can make a little chip grow into a real budget buster. So make your repair or replacement appointment today at Glass Doctor of Fargo Moorhead. Call or go online at glassdoctor.com/Fargo. That's glassdoctor.com/Fargo.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your paint.
It's Jay and Ronnie from the Coffee Club, and we enjoy drinking coffee because it keeps us energized and focused.
Well, let's be frank. I enjoy drinking coffee because coffee keeps me wide-eyed in the morning, but I'll tell you this type of coffee is organic, specialty-grade coffee, beans selected from the top 2% available, 100% Arabica bean coffee, certified organic, non-GMO, low acidity, rich, smooth, and ready to drink.
The finish is clean and it has a pleasant aftertaste. It's delicious. It's so far the best coffee that we've had. It's also roasted and packed in the US of A. We love it and we guarantee you will too. All you need to do is go to mystore.com, click on My Coffee, and enter the promo code WDAY.
That's promo code WDAY to get your own My Coffee.
It's also roasted and packed in the US of A. We love it and we guarantee you will too. Go to mystore.com, promo code WDAY.
What do you tell folks when they ask who your insurance agent is and why?
DJ's great. His practice has been not just an insurance agent, but also there's a friendship there. They are very open about their communications with their clients. They want to do everything they can to help their clients. I've got multiple policies with him: auto, home, life insurance, an umbrella policy. Anything and everything you need insurance-wise, you can get from DJ Coulter Insurance.
DJ Coulter, American Family Insurance, 235-6641, djcoulter.com.
Welcome back to the Winter Weather Outlook Special on 970 WDAY 93.1 FM. Also on AM 1100 The Flag and 92.3 FM. Also, you can watch it live on our YouTube channel. Just go to WDAY Radio. Then what do? Just scroll down, Justin?
So you just go onto the WDAY 970 AM YouTube channel. Click on there. It should be the very top thing on our YouTube channel. It'll say live. We're also on Facebook, WDAY 970 AM.
Hold on. What's the YouTube one?
I believe that is just WDAY 970 AM.
970 AM Radio?
Just 970 AM. WDAY.
Okay, that's on YouTube.
Yep, and that's the same name for Facebook as well. And I see we got a few comments on our Facebook video, and we'll get to those throughout the show.
Okay, 701-293-9000, our Thor Building studio lines, post frame construction for ag and commercial industries, thorbuildings.com. Also, you can email us, and I'm not ignoring the emails. I'll get to all these emails. That is studio at WDAYradionow.com, our Tyler's Tree Service inbox, tylerscut.com for all your tree needs. And again, we want to thank Jiffy Lube for exclusively sponsoring today's Winter Weather Outlook Special. We're going to go until 5 o'clock this afternoon. We only have Gary until 4 o'clock. So again, if you've got a question, comment, you want to know about a day, we're doing winter and into spring. There will be a spring, late spring, summer Outlook Special as well. Again, 701-293-9000. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, locally owned and operated with 3 convenient Fargo locations, and you never need an appointment. These guys rock, man. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy. All right, Doug, Gary, I'm going to let you finish what you were doing, and then I got to get back to the phone calls. We got full lines to get to.
All right. I was talking about the Super Bowl prediction, and then the Grand Prix, the Formula One racing, they contacted me about 3-4 weeks ago, maybe it's a month and a half ago already, and I made a prediction for their race in Austin, Texas. Keep your eye to the sky. It's going to stay dry, and they loved what I did. So, and then they had me do Brazil. And then for Brazil, I said, keep your eye to the sky. It's not going to stay so dry. It would rain. They put on their rain tires. So I'm learning a little bit more about that big phenomenon with Formula One racing. But they've asked me to do the 23 races for next year. So that's going to be something we're going to do. So the weather 2020 in the LRC is getting out there.
Awesome. Let's go to poor Brian in South Fargo. Has been waiting a long time. Brian, you're up with Gary Lezak, CEO of Weather 2020 and founder of the LRC and the entire crew here. What's up, man?
Thank you for taking my call. I hope my question is not too long-winded, but I know meteorologists are scientists, and if anything we found out in the last 2 years is scientists don't like to be proven wrong. My question is, have you received any pushback from traditional meteorologists, or have you been discredited, or somebody tried to discredit you from one of those bullcrap universities that teach meteorology? And if they have tried to discredit you, how do you fight back?
I love you, Brian. I love you, brother.
That is great. I'm gonna have you in my arsenal to fight back with. I'll tell you that. All right. But
bring it on, buddy.
No, we
bring it on.
Let's do it. Because it's ridiculous. I have, I tried to get my paper published, the cycling pattern hypothesis, and I didn't. The main sources would not publish my paper. They don't want to hear the new things. They don't understand it, and so. But I did get it published. I've also an article published in Meteorological Technology International Magazine, so I've gotten some things published. But there is. It is new. It is innovative. Some of them think it's going to take 30 or 40 more years before this is being used, but we're using it now for you and for other people around the nation and around the world. But yes, there is a lot of people that don't like it because it threatens. And I'll let Justin and Dean talk to this. It threatens the way we forecast the weather today. We can predict the weather, and the LRC helps with the storm coming towards North Dakota next week. As it gets closer, we'll be able to use the LRC even 1 day out, even 2 days out, to say, well, that model's wrong. It's saying it's going down across southeastern Nebraska when it's going to actually be in northern South Dakota. We know where things are going, even using the LRC 1 or 2 days out. So to answer your question, it threatens the face of meteorology today, and that threat is definitely not easy to deal with, because they do come back at me. But it is growing. There's enough of you out there that have experienced this in your area, that the uncanny accuracy, it's as I said, it's not perfect. Yeah. I'll let Dean and Justin add to that.
And Gary, I'm gonna add on.
Thanks, Brian.
This, I have a friend of mine. He's a convection, so thunderstorm expert basically. He's doing a lot of research on tornadoes right now. But the amount of times that I've talked to him about the LRC, and he's like, nah, I'm not buying this. No, it's not. And you have made the best analogy. I don't know if maybe we'll call it an analogy, but the best saying that kind of reflects what the LRC is, and the whole predicting out into the future is that the LRC is the order to the chaos that we know as the atmosphere. And I have just found that that is the best way to simplify what the LRC is, because you know what's going to happen, but there's little things that play into it, whatnot. But I keep telling him over last year, this year, and even with this new cycle, I've shared a little bit of information with him. I show him a couple maps. I'm like, hey, look at this. What about this? What about that? The amount of times there he's been like, all right, I'll give you that one. All right, yeah, that one looks similar. Okay, you got me on this one. I think I'm in the 20s now over the last year and a half with him, and he's slowly getting on board with this. All right. There's something to this.
Bridgette, let me ask you, because you're the eyes and the ears out there. I mean, you eat, live, and breathe ag in farm and ranch. How are ranchers and farmers, are they hearing about this? Are they accepting it? Are they going, damn, this is fantastic for us?
Yes, and yes. So first of all, like myself, when I first got here earlier this year, I thought, it's a lot of foo-foo dust, kids. But
yeah, I thought the same thing.
But it's not, and it's been accurate. And I get that reporting back from those who listen and follow us and say frequently, you guys got that one. And that really has helped. We've had a number of people who have subscribed to Gary's system with Substack 2020 in order to make sure that they get the most accurate forecasting for their zip code. They know their county, what's going to happen right around them. And it impacts everything from hauling grain to scheduling labor for planting or harvest, to what can happen with their livestock, because livestock producers don't just leave every day and hope things turn out fine. So I think that there's a lot more people who are coming around to it.
Anything else, guys, before I get back to the calls? We got full lines here.
Yeah, take the calls real quick.
All right, let's go to John in Fargo. Hey, John, thanks for hanging on. You're up on the Jay Thomas Show and the Winter Weather Outlook Special. John, you've been waiting a long time. I can hear you there. Go ahead, John. I'm going to put John on hold. If you would, Ronnie, get John lined up. Let's go to, hold on, let me put him on hold. There we go. I believe, Jim's been waiting a while. Jim and Moorhead, you're up on the Jay Thomas Show on the Winter Weather Outlook Special.
Yeah, say I've been listening to this LRC stuff for hopefully as long as you've been on. I thought it was witchcraft at first, but it seems to be pretty on. And we're going to be heading to Colorado Springs, drive December 22nd, and we're going to be coming back on the 28th. And I think we're going to call in.
Okay, I'm gonna put Jim on hold.
Yeah,
Ronnie,
I can answer that for.
Okay.
Let me answer that for him real quick.
Okay.
Jim, the 22nd and the 28th is very interesting. One thing that we may touch upon a little more in details next hour, but this year's cycle has set. We're already in the second cycle, and there seems to be, especially for the plain states, including North Dakota, a first half of the cycle that's fairly dry and not as stormy, and a second half of the cycle that is stormier. And that 22nd to 28th, right around Christmas time frame, is right down the middle of what should be a fairly active, very stormy period. Two significant storm systems that might impact travel. So just something to pay attention to. You now know ahead of time, so you can start thinking about it and give yourself a little peace of mind. But just know that is likely that 21st, 22nd storm has another one following it up. It might dig down the West Coast and warm things up ahead of it. But at first, it's going to be a very interesting stormy week there, I think.
Yeah. We were going to drive to Omaha and then across, but maybe we're better off to go to Rapid City.
Let's see how it sets up.
Jim, appreciate the phone call. Dean's in Portland, North Dakota. Dean, Jay Thomas Show.
Dean,
go ahead. Okay, I'm going to put Dean on hold. Some of these folks have been waiting a long time to get on.
God bless them for waiting, by the way.
Let's try Oscar. Oscar, you're up on the Jay Thomas Show on the Winter Weather Outlook Special, brought to you by Jiffy Lube.
What an interesting show. You know, Jay, I grew up before we had electricity. My grandpa taught me how to read the moon and the sun.
Yeah?
I can tell tomorrow I couldn't tell you how much rain we're going to have or how much snow, but I can tell you if it's going to rain or snow. I can tell you especially watching the sunset at night, I know what the weather's going to do the next day. And you watch the moon, the first quarter of the moon, when it has a big, almost straight up and down quarter, you know it's going to be a wet moon. Because it's not going to hold water. And when it's curved halfway up, it's called a dry moon. Have you guys ever studied that at all?
All right, boys, have you studied that? Because I know we've had muskrat mounds, people calling in about that in the program. I know I like to put a rock outside. If it gets wet, I know it's raining out. If it's,
I have not
Anyway, I mean, we learned how to do this. I mean, we grew up on a farm, and this is how the old-timers knew when to put up hay. We knew what to do with this by watching the moon and the sun.
All right, Oscar, I'm going to let these guys respond.
Anyway, I want to send you a care package for Christmas, Jay.
Send it to me, brother. Send me a care package.
How'd you like the last one?
I loved it. I appreciated it.
Anyway, I'll listen to you guys there. I'm just about up the crooks in here where I got a load. So I want to see what these guys have to say about my old-time weather report.
All right, I do too. Thanks, Oscar. Go ahead, boys.
I myself have not. We were never taught that at all. I know there's always, farmers will stand by that. Let's say after the first fog, and then you can say there's going to be rain X amount of days after that. Gary, how about yourself? Have you ever heard of that forecasting technique?
Some of those folklores are related to the LRC. We've talked about it, I think, in the past, where, if there's that, that first snow happens on a certain day, then there's going to be 12 Sundays or whatever or something. But it's probably related to the LRC. It's probably if it's a storming pattern, it'll be returning on schedule. But no, I mean astronomy and astronomical features are predictable, as you said earlier, Dean. Predicting exactly when the moon's going to set, the sun's going to rise, and when there's going to be an eclipse 50 years from now. Astronomers are the best forecasters in the world because they can predict those things. But how are they related to weather, like with the moon shape? I'm not so sure about that one.
All right, let me, Dean's. I think we got Dean hooked up now in Portland, North Dakota. Let's try you again, Dean. You're up on the Winter Weather Outlook Special.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the storm in North Dakota next week, I'm just about 60 miles northwest of Fargo. So where's the storm going to track? And what do you think about snowfall and whatever?
24 inches this year. That's my prediction.
That's your yearly prediction.
Oh, for snow. Yeah.
We've already had one storm that dumped that. Well, I'll tell you what, Dean. Taking a look at some of our short and medium range models, mainly medium range models into next week, track is still a little uncertain, but both our European and our American models, even the Canadian model as well, they're all coming around to a significant snow event, a good likelihood in, I'd say most of North and South Dakota. This is going to be a pretty widespread event the way it looks right now. But again, we'll use the LRC as we get a little closer to this to be able to pinpoint exactly where the heaviest amount is going to fall. But this is right on track with the previous cycle, with storm in the previous cycle, in cycle 1. Except that storm went to our south, and as Gary alluded to earlier, there's more blocking in the upper levels of the atmosphere this time around, so this system is coming a little bit further north, the way it appears right now. Let's see how it pans out. But the storm is there on the LRC cycle, and this won't be the only one. There will be one more before the end of the month. So,
and then, Dean, one more thing on that.
Get the snowblower fired up then.
Yeah, you're going to have to get it
ready.
ready.
I get the snowblower. I get the snowblowers fired up, get ready for a significant storm. What's happening is in the last cycle, it had two systems, as Dean suggested earlier. One went way down south, one went up to the north. This time it seems to be the same similar system, but it seems to have one real compact, strong storm. Now, it's what the models are showing. So let's keep tracking it day by day. We know there's going to be a storm there. Last time it had two distinct pieces. It still may end up with two distinct pieces. If it does, then it might take a lot of it up towards northern North Dakota. I just got a feeling this one's coming a little farther south because of those other factors. The AO is negative and the NAO is negative. There's usually a lag coefficient by about 5 days that lines up with early next week. So that should take it to the south, leaving you guys with I always say, beneficial storm, because you're going to get some rain and snow. You need the moisture, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, Gary, I'll call this.
I haven't even bought gas yet for my snowblower this year. My tank's sitting empty. I better go up and buy some.
Yeah, I guess.
Thanks, Dean. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
And we've had a couple of big storms that have missed us so far this during the first cycle. And I know what your winter outlook. We've looked over what we're going to go over this here next hour of what our winter weather outlook is in terms of precip and temperature wise. I think temperature wise, I think we pretty much know what's going to happen on there. But what if a couple of these storm systems that missed us the first cycle, Gary, end up clobbering us either in cycle 2 or in cycle 3? Would that put a change on the forecast for the precip outlook for the rest of the season?
In May. So the model will show one thing, but then there's an art and science to what we do. And you and Justin are becoming quite the artists on this new LRC technology and methodology. You guys are getting really good at it. I've had 35 years of practice with it. But the storm systems that missed you are good because they didn't miss you by a lot, and they missed you, kept you dry a couple times, and that's why you were a little bit dry. What happens is, as we go through the next few storm systems, maybe they're going to hit you. 2 years ago, when I was on with you guys and Jay for the first time, we talked about how dry it was and how the corn and soybean crops were going to have a problem because it was going to stay a drought during the summer. And then a couple of your farmers called in and told me that, Gary, it only takes one thunderstorm to make the crop. And so I said, well, the chance of that happening at the right time is low, and your drought continued.
I remember that.
Yeah, last year you had the big wet October, November. So when we were on, it was a little bit easier to explain how that was a really good sign that you're going to get blasted. And it was wet all the way into summer. And then when the jet stream retreated, the pattern continued, but your rain sort of cut off a little bit at the end. You still had a pretty decent season, I believe, but at the very end it got dry a little bit. So But as to Dean's point, it is likely going to, those storm systems are better than 2 years ago. Because 2 years ago, there were like no storms, none. I'm like, it's going to be dry. At least you have a couple that missed you and they weren't that far away. So in one of the cycles, you could get hit by all four, and all of a sudden you have a wet April. So it's something we're going to be monitoring for.
All right, multiple emails asking basically the same question, Gary. I'll read one of them, but this should answer multiples. It says, I'm a farmer and would like your yearly forecast in depth. What is the cost of your service? How do I get it? Where do I go?
Yeah, for a personal touch, it's going to be more like $1,000 a month, probably, something like that. But you can go to our Substack account and go to Weather 2020. That's weather2020.substack.com. It's only $300 a year or $50 a month. And if you ask on there, I just asked people on the winter forecast that you'll see posted there that I just did last night. I'll go into each one of your counties. So let me know what county it is, and in the next report in a couple weeks, I'll give you a little outlook that'll take you through the next few months. So that's one way to do it. But if you want a real customized report and you have a little more funds, then you can get more individual attention, and we can talk and do a webinar one-on-one, and I can give you some more sophisticated reports. But so those are your options.
I'm going to add something onto there because we have a couple people on Facebook, YouTube watching. They're dropping a couple of comments on there, and half of these we're going to get to in the next hour. But one person wanted to know, Diana, or I hope it's Diana, want to know how far in the future does your $50 a month subscription go? And then just to add on to that, how far out can you go with your enterprise subscription that you were mentioning?
Well, we can go out a whole year with the enterprise subscription, but for the $300 a year, you'll get the updates every 2 weeks and possibly more often. Something significant happened in my life last Thursday. Dean can tell you more about it, but I left TV. So yeah. I retired from TV last Thursday. Yeah, I cried. I was like a little baby on the air because it was my. Yeah, Jay, you're gonna have to see this.
Yeah, I gotta see this.
Hey, but that was my last one. And so I'm now 100% full force Weather 2020. We're going to take this technology to another level because I needed to be full-time into this. So maybe I'll update the Substack a little more often, but definitely every 2 weeks. And the beauty of the LRC, when I give you that forecast from now to April, and then in the next few weeks, a little bit farther deeper into summer, it's likely not going to change much. That's the most spectacular thing about the LRC. When you have these models now, you have a forecast for 10 days from now, and you think there's going to be a snowstorm, and then the next day it says sunny and 40 degrees. It's not going to be a snowstorm at all. Then the next day it's back to a snowstorm. The beauty of the LRC, because it's already tracking what has happened and it's predicting what's going to happen based on the cycling pattern, it doesn't change. That's how we can predict the forecast for the Super Bowl. That's how we predict the forecast for the Masters Golf Tournament. That's how we make your predictions for when storms will happen. We know when and where and how. But I can't tell you exactly all the how, and Dean and Justin know that. So, but we know because that's proprietary to us, Jay.
Oh, exactly, man. You can't give away the secret sauce. All right, we've got just a couple minutes left in this hour. I'm trying to get to all the emails. I'm going to try to slip one more call in here before we get to the top of the hour. Email says, Jay, awesome show as always, but they need to know that you need a smoke break every once in a while. Yeah, my smoke break's coming up. It's coming up, Mike, in just a couple minutes here. Rob, I'm going to slip you in here before top of the hour. Rob, you're up. Go ahead.
Hey, just a quick question. Can the LRC tell a person how much wind we're going to get?
Great question.
Yes. Yes, especially the big winds. All right, so especially the big winds. When a storm system is approaching, you're going to almost always have a south wind or an easterly wind because remember, the wind blows towards low pressure and away from high pressure. So as a storm is approaching and we know it's coming, our model is going to be able to predict that east or southeast or south wind ahead of it, and then the north wind behind it. But what we have done, one big lawsuit that was done here in the Kansas City area, there was a company that had major roof damage, and they just wanted to prove that it was weather. that caused that, the wind that caused that. So they had like a 65 mile per hour wind on a February day 2 years earlier. So I went back and looked at the records, and that year's cycle was about 56 days. And every 54, 55, 56, 57 days, every single cycle, boom, there it is, a 55, 60 mile per hour wind. So the wind is also created by these storm systems, especially the big winds, and they are predictable. The daily winds, they're not going to be as accurate 100 days out, but we'll have a prediction for you. But the big winds, if there's a really bad storm that has a 50 or 60 mile per hour wind caused by a major low pressure area, that is likely going to return on schedule.
Rob, appreciate the call, buddy.
You know, Gary, last year when we were on doing our winter weather special, we had a caller call in, and they were asking, you know, man, it's been so windy and wet this winter. Is it going to be windy again, or this fall? Is it going to be windy this winter? And we're like, yes, wind is going to continue. It will return regularly. Sure enough, North Dakota, record number of blizzard warnings and winter weather.
Well,
I don't know about the advisory, but the blizzard warnings.
But just let me say, all right, we live in damn North Dakota. It's always windy here. Pretty easy to predict wind.
Hey, but record number of blizzard warnings?
It's North Dakota.
I'm
Justin.
jealous. I live up there.
No, you don't.
We can get you up.
No, you don't. You don't want to. I'm trying to get out of here. You want to come up here? Come on. All right, let's do our top of the hour break, and when we come back, more. Our guest Gary Lezak. He is the founder of the LRC, also the CEO of Weather2020.com. More your calls. We're going to get in now to the forecast.
Now we're going to dive into what the winter was going to look like.
Now you've been waiting for these boys. They're going to tell us what to expect this winter into the spring.
Out.
Stop it. And then more your calls. I'll get to all the emails as well. The Winter Weather Outlook Special brought to you exclusively by Jiffy Lube of Fargo, locally owned and operated, 3 convenient Fargo locations.
The biggest team in Fargo-Moorhead is right here. This is WDAY Radio, AM 970 and FM 93.1, Fargo-Moorhead, West Fargo.
Good afternoon, Ty Schoenert here, WDAY News First. Another update has come in on a story that rocked a community in South Moorhead. Moorhead Police Department tells us Racia Colley's 2016 black Honda Pilot was located today in Wahpeton. Colley's the woman who authorities say was stabbed to death by her son, James Colley Jr., in her home in South Moorhead last week. Colley Jr., who then fled the scene to Wahpeton in his car, according to law enforcement, was found at Matage Home Laundry last Friday evening. He's currently in Clay County facing a second-degree murder charge. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum's new budget proposal, including $170 million to address the state's workforce shortage.
Every state is now competing for workforce. States will grow or prosper, or they will decline and shrink based on if they can attract and retain talent to live and work in their states.
Burgum delivered his executive budget address before a legislative assembly today in Bismarck. The record spending plan totaled $18.4 billion. It would include increased support for K-12 education and teacher salaries, and more than $3 billion for roads, bridges, water projects, and other critical infrastructure. And the Minnesota budget reaches a new record surplus, a projected $17.6 billion. The projections come ahead of the Minnesota legislative session, where Democrats take full control for the first time in a decade. State Democrats look to increase funding for education, childcare, infrastructure, and more. This is Ty Schoenert with WDAY and WDAYRadioNow.com. More of the LRC Winter Outlook coming up.
Bored with the same old menu, the same old fixtures? It's time to establish new traditions like we have at Traditions Restaurant and Bar. They have great breakfast items like their Frenchata Toast, Eggs Benny, and their Bloody Mary. Wow! Traditions has multiple happy hours, a new party room where you can celebrate occasions, big or small. They have darts, blackjack, pool, electronic pull tabs, and a liquor store to take the party home. Start a new tradition at Traditions Restaurant and Bar, conveniently located at 3330 Cheyenne Street South in West Fargo.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Congress is racing against the clock to avert a government shutdown. Lawmakers are crafting a spending bill package that can pass with bipartisan support before next week's deadline. At today's briefing, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre remained optimistic that Democrats and Republicans can get it done.
We should be able to have an omnibus bill like we have done in the past, and it should be bipartisan, and we have enough time to get that done.
In North Carolina, utility company Duke Energy says the damage to equipment from the gunfire attack in Moore County has been repaired or replaced. Officials say power will be restored to the remaining 35,000 customers before midnight. Investigators are still working to find those responsible. Peru's president has been taken into custody after he tried to dissolve Congress and remain in power. Pedro Castillo was facing impeachment, but Peruvian lawmakers instead voted him out of office. State Department spokesperson Ned Price says the U.S. does not support the coup attempt.
We categorically reject any acts to circumvent or to contradict Peru's constitutions. We categorically reject any acts that undermine democracy inside of Peru.
The U.S. Embassy is warning Americans to remain alert due to street demonstrations. New details in the Russian strikes this week on Ukraine's power grid and Ukraine's counteroffensive to carry out drone attacks on Russian military bases used to launch those attacks. ABC's Inez de la Quatera has more.
Russia accusing Ukraine of striking military facilities inside Russia. First, it was 2 military facilities deep inside Russian territory, and then a third airfield was hit in a southern region closer to the Ukrainian border. A senior official with President Zelensky's inner circle telling ABC News that Ukraine was inside Russia, helping guide the drones that targeted one military facility.
You're listening to ABC News.
You know, if you feel like you're stuck with a healthcare plan that isn't affordable or you simply just don't like how it works, well, right now, during open enrollment is a perfect time to switch to Medi-Share. The typical family saves $500 a month when they join Medi-Share, and what's more, they like it. Medi-Share has double the customer satisfaction rate compared to the industry. That's double. And Medi-Share is the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. It's been around for 30 years. It's shared more than $4 billion in healthcare bills. And here's why now is the perfect time to make the switch. If you join Medi-Share Complete by January 1st, they will waive your new member fees and you'll save an additional 10% off your first year. That's right. No fee to join, 10% off every month for all of next year. But again, it's a limited time offer. So yeah, you're not stuck. You've got a great option. Call now. 877-64-BIBLE. That's 877-64-BIBLE. 877-64-BIBLE.
Partly cloudy skies for this afternoon. It will be cold with highs near 6 above. We'll have winds out of the north switching to the east at around 5 to 15, producing wind chills below 0 all day long. Clear skies tonight will bottom out near 0 and then see temperatures rise towards morning as winds shift to the south at 10 to 15. And partly cloudy, breezy, a little warmer for your Thursday with highs in the mid-20s. We'll see the upper 20s for Friday and then near 30 for the weekend. From the WDAY Skywatch Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki.
North Dakota is a special place.
Oil and gas supports more than 60,000 jobs in the state of North Dakota.
And the industry is vital to our economy, adding nearly $4 billion in state and local tax revenues.
Why would we buy oil from dictators when we have it right here? We produce it the cleanest, the greenest of anywhere in the world.
Keep creating great jobs, and right here in North Dakota.
We support North Dakota oil and gas.
Paid for by American Experiment, North Dakota. AmericanExperimentND.org.
All right, we are back. This is the Jay Thomas Show. We today are doing the annual Winter Weather Outlook special with the weather god right there, Gary Lezak. He's so good at this. This is so good and has become so popular and people want it that he up and quit his $6 million a year TV meteorologist job. He's going to come on the road with me when I'm out filming rides, or I'm going to join this so I can say, hey, we're down here filming rides in Oklahoma. Is the weather going to be good? Can we take cars out? Man, this is fantastic. More of your calls. We'll take those. We're going until 5 o'clock. We only have Gary for one more hour. Also with me, Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki. He introduced us up here in the Great White North to the LRC, and we all at first thought, okay, whatever. Who is this meteorologist you hired, Hallstrom? Get this hocus pocus dude the hell out of here. And lo and behold, we're all like, wow, this is something else. Also, meteorologist Justin Storm is in here, and yes, that is Justin's real last name, destined to be a meteorologist. And Bridgette Readel, not bad, buddy. Bridgette Readel, our ag director, is hanging out with us. And look, we've got so many emails, messages on social media, text messages. We're going to get to them. We'll get to them all. A lot of them we may not be able to hit till the 4 o'clock hour. But again, we'll weave your phone calls in. So if you were trying to get through earlier and could not, actually for the first time this afternoon, all my phone lines are open. 701-293-9000. You can also email us studio at WDAYradionow.com. This winter weather outlook special brought to you exclusively by Jiffy Lube of Fargo. Okay, I've got right here, I got my calendars. I'm writing this stuff down. I'm writing it down again this year.
I haven't written this much stuff down since
I
college,
know.
and I can guarantee you I didn't pay that much attention to it like I am now.
College, what is that?
Goodness.
Let me get my old man glasses on and get ready for this.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes, what everybody wants to know in terms of the weather. So I'll kind of start it off in the first part of the cycle, Gary.
Hey, by the way, real quick, just let me address this because I've got a ton of emails asking, are you going to give out the length of the cycle this year?
Nope.
No, not going to give it out.
That is the proprietary information.
That's right. Gary
So
no
if
longer
you
has a
listen
TV
carefully-
job. He's got to pay for meals.
Yeah, if you listen carefully, you'll probably figure out close to what it is.
Sure.
So, but honestly, it's definitely proprietary information. My peers don't understand it anyway. But it's really complex. Remember, the weather pattern is cycling and it oscillates. It's a fluid up there at about 10 to 30,000 feet above us, and this fluid air it oscillates over a series of dates. So it's not exactly perfect, but last year it was 63 to 64 to 65 days, and that allowed us to predict Hurricane Ian and many other things. So, but yeah, we're going to keep that secret, but listen carefully, and you can figure it out yourself.
Yeah, I think I've already got it figured out, actually.
He thinks
I think I do, yeah.
So Gary, when the cycle started in early October, the first part of the cycle, in fact, let's go the first 25 days of the cycle, we only picked up 0.17 of an inch of precip up here. I mean, the first part of that cycle was very dry, but then the back part of the cycle was stormy. So is that something we can expect to go through the rest of this winter and spring?
Absolutely, and if you are watching there, you can see it. The first half of each cycle is right now likely to be drier than the second half of each cycle. If you can see there, the southwestern United States is interesting. You had a very wet first half cycle in New Mexico, and then a very, very, very dry second half. Up in North Dakota, Minnesota, northern South Dakota, it was very, very dry in the first half of the cycle, and in the second half of the cycle, it was quite wet. So it wasn't wet enough to make it look like it's going to be a wet season. So that's the first thing. We do think that it does have two phases to it that are distinct. So we're in that first half of the first cycle now. The second half of the first cycle, the second half of the second cycle, we're in the first half of the second cycle now. And the second half of the second cycle is going to start here soon, if you understand what I'm saying. That's pretty complex.
Sure, yeah.
But bottom line is, it's about to get stormy for about a 2 to 4 week stretch. And North Dakota is in the path of some of these storm systems. So you're going to get clobbered by a couple of them at least.
I want to change my prediction.
See, yeah, we have an in-house prediction, Gary, of how much snow. And when the cycle started so dry, Jay just threw out 24 inches. That's all we're getting this winter. I said, we're not done with the cycle yet. I don't care. It's so dry. And you know what? If the second half of the cycle ended up being like the first half, he probably would have been right.
I love your impersonation of Jay, by the way. That was
that's pretty close, isn't it?
So
we have that one map that you'll get to it later. I'll let you talk.
Okay, no. So the first half of the cycle is going to be dry. Second half of the cycle, wet. Do you think that's going to average out to close to normal snowfall or precip around here, or do you think we're going to still average a little bit below normal as we go into spring?
I think it's going to come close to normal because I do think there's going to be somewhat of a shift. Right now we're in a La Nina. La Nina is the cooling of the tropical Pacific Ocean, and in La Ninas, it tends to push precipitation patterns off to the east. Last year is a perfect example. In fact, You guys are a case study. You all, everyone in North Dakota, you're in a case study right now. Because 2 years ago, we had La Nina, and you had a drought that continued. Last year, we had La Nina again, and yet it got very wet. So it shows you La Nina only influences the pattern. There's something bigger going on, and that's the LRC. La Nina going into the third straight winter of La Nina. This is the third straight winter. It's only happened 2 other times, 1975-76. Winter is the third one, and 2000-2001. In Bismarck, Jay's forecast would come through. 26.1 inches of snow in Bismarck in 75-76, whereas Fargo had 44.3 and Grand Forks 45.1 inches. In 2000 and 2001, the other year, 44 inches fell in Bismarck and 52 inches in Fargo and 45 in Grand Forks. So all 6 of those numbers are a little bit below average pretty much, or near average, but definitely below. And so that's why just based on that alone, Bismarck would have 35 inches and Fargo maybe 48 inches of snow. That's just on that small sample size. However, there's going to be a weakening of the La Nina and a shift towards neutral in the ENSO. In other words, the waters in the tropical Pacific Ocean are going to warm up a little bit. And that might, I have a little theory, I believe it's going to shift the precipitation patterns a little bit to the left. The storm systems are going to still be there according to the LRC, but a slight shift will pull in more Gulf of Mexico moisture, and I'm predicting that it's going to get you closer to average by the time we get to spring.
Sorry, Jay.
All right.
So my 64 inches looking good.
Yeah, it is. All right, let's go through this thing.
Below average.
Can we go through this?
We can if you'd like.
Let's go. What is today's date?
Today
the 7th.
is the 7th.
All right, let's go.
So we've got a system coming through here next week. That was on the first cycle of the LRC. We picked up about 0.13 of an inch, but that's the storm that split into 2 pieces.
Okay.
This one is going to be more of a direct hit, it looks like, in our area. It may, as Gary was leaning towards, more than likely this will go south, but that would spare us from the heaviest snow, but still getting some much appreciable precip next week.
What day are those?
Looks like Tuesday, Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, okay.
And then the following week, we had a system come through here that went to our south, if I'm not mistaken, right, Justin?
Yep,
the week of the 21st?
Went more through the central United States.
Okay, so we'll be watching that the week of the 21st. The more concerning part is the week of the 26th through the first week in January. It looks like the potential of a pretty decent-sized storm system the week of the 26th, and that's going to be followed by some, according to temperatures on the LRC, some very cold weather for that first week in January.
Like last year.
Fun little cold snap is what it'll be.
Yeah, because last year, right over New Year's, it was air temps of negative 20.
Now, keep in mind, this recent cold snap that we had, not just this brief cold snap where temperatures are 20 degrees below normal, but the last cold snap we had, which lasted about a week to almost 10 days.
About 6 to 10 days between a couple of them.
That was a good 10 to 20 degrees below normal, so that'll be even more harsh.
A few days we were about 25 below average.
That'll be more harsh when that comes back through in early January.
All right.
And then the cycle will reset in January. Not telling you when.
Come on.
It's like counting cards, Jay. You got to get better.
That's what I'm trying to do here.
Right? Right around, so the cycle will start off kind of quiet, just like it did in the
cold but quiet.
Yeah. Actually, it started out kind of on the mild side in that first cycle. Not mild in January. It's not going to be, you're not like you were in October. But it should start out on the quiet side. And then as we head towards, looks like that latter part of January, that's when we'll see possibility of another storm system come our way that could be significant.
When?
Towards the end of the month.
Okay.
And then you want to take over February there, Justin?
Yeah, why don't we take a look past January? So we'll be watching another possible system that looks to be coming in at the end of the first week of February, although with a jet stream accelerating and reaching further to the south, I got a pretty good bet that that will more than likely miss our area, but something that we'll keep an eye on in case, you know, a couple other factors come to play and maybe shift that a little further north, i.e. a positive shift in the Arctic Oscillation, but we'll spare you the exact details on that. Then we're going to start repeating back into that kind of active stretch a little bit of the LRC cycle.
Towards mid-February?
We're going to go the 2nd to 3rd week of February. Could be watching for a couple of clipper systems to be rolling through our area, although at that same time, probably see another burst of some Arctic air, and depending on how exactly far south that Arctic air reaches, those clippers could possibly go to our south because they're going to ride along that Arctic fringe of that Arctic air. So we're just going to keep an eye on that, but that's going to be another time period where we could see a couple of clipper systems rolling through.
Question from the new kid in the room. So with that clipper, when you say that could fall south of us, seriously, you'd see cooler temperatures to the south versus where we're at? Because generally those clippers nail us.
Well, but
generally they do, but they ride right along where that Arctic air spill is coming out. And that's what they were doing in the first cycle. More than likely, that's what will continue.
Okay, just curious.
Do you know what's amazing to me is just watching Dean and Justin come out with this forecast. They're right on through into February, and you guys are just so ultimately confident, and I'm just so proud of that because I've been working on this for so long. You guys, you know that this is going to be accurate, okay? Exactly how much rain, exactly how much snow, exactly how cold. You know, it's hard to say still, but you guys are just so confident. I love it.
Look at the smile on Gary's face. It's like, look at that.
Hey, when you can pass along something that you've invented, or you know what I mean, if you can pass that on to the more and more the meteorologists that can latch onto this, the better. Yeah.
Well, that and the nice thing is you're not straddled with $100,000 in school loan debt learning from Gary Lezak. He didn't charge you guys anything.
So then as we go into March...
Yeah, we're going to talk about March in Florida.
I already told you it was going to be nice in Florida.
All right.
So you want to take March there, Justin?
Yeah, we'll touch into March. So where did we leave off? That last week of February, watch out for some cold air and a couple of clipper systems possible to ride through our area, although they could skirt south into South Dakota. Into March. Getting myself caught up here in the right spot.
Got a nice cold snap coming in March.
It does look like there could be a good little cold snap right in the middle of the month. That'll be something to keep an eye on.
Lovely.
You know.
And Jay, if you go, Justin, if you do join Substack, weather2020.substack.com, that's weather2020.substack.com. I do have that chart on there, and you can probably throw it up here, but there's the name right there. And so what we do is our model at this moment, and listen, the cycle length, this is one reason why we don't tell you yet, Jay. There's a reason. Usually it's not till about the 5th of January that I am 100% confident on it. It still might vary by a day or 2 or 3. If you're 3 days off by March, that could be 9 or 12 days off. And what good is that? We are so good and so precise that we need to narrow in on what that is. So it's usually January 5th, 6th, 7th. We'll know for sure what that is. And then we can have a private phone call, Jay, and I'll let you know.
Outstanding. Right? Outstanding. I got a smile on my face, man.
But if you join right now, it's $50 a month. You can just pay for 1 month if you want to, but the deal is $300 for a whole year. Right. That'll take you into next year. So, but and you can see that whole report. But on that report, you can see, based on what we think the cycle length is now, a dip in very, very cold surge for the United States around that first part of March. So we have to be prepared for that.
It could be a surprise early spring cold snap right when you think, hey, maybe we're out of this.
But when these Arctic outbreaks return, especially in January and February, they're going to be more intense than they were obviously in the previous cycle. It looks like because we're going to have more snowpack on the ground, and this is going to be and Gary, your thoughts on so we already touched on snowfall right around average, maybe a little bit below average for North South Dakota and into Minnesota. What about temperature-wise? What's your thought on our temperatures on the whole through the winter and into early spring?
It's interesting. The pattern right now should have already produced a rather significant Arctic air mass to the north, and it didn't quite do it. I want to go look at it real quick and see how cold it is way up there. Just a second. Let me just
we were 33 below this morning in the northern part of the state.
Were we?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was 33
Is that wind chill or actual
No, that's
temp?
actual temperature.
No kidding.
50 below wind chills in the northwestern corner of the state.
Boy, I'm glad I live in the South.
It'll be fine. Put on an extra scarf.
Exactly.
I'm looking and I see. Oh my goodness! Yeah, you were really cold today. That's retreating, but there's a brutally cold air mass, minus 40 degrees or so, or minus 50 degrees, developing over northern Canada, and so that'll have to come down eventually. And so hopefully it's not that early March period, but there's going to be about 3 or 4 shots for those that will be coming down. And then you talked at the very beginning of the earliest part of your show at 2 o'clock about how the West had 200% of its snowpack in California. I'm going to be part of this partnership with futuresnow.com, and they predict snow for the ski resort. So fascinating how California is getting hit. It's a sign that maybe this La Nina is about to loosen its grip on us. La Nina, I don't like it, guys. It pushes precipitation off the east. It increases the chance of drought. But since it's weakening, very good chance that those precipitation patterns will get a little wetter as we go through the season. And then Jay can enjoy that blizzard.
Oh, yeah, looking forward to those.
Dairy Queen blizzards.
I can't wait.
You know, Gary, I thought that was interesting. You said there's going to be 3, maybe 4 cold snaps throughout this winter into the early portion of spring, I'll call it, into March. And I got my little temperature outlook projection here that I made, which is a little different from yours, but I got the same exact thing, and I bet you they're probably lining up fairly closely to the same time frames of when those Arctic dumps are going to come through. And yeah, that one into the beginning of March possibly could be a cold one, depending on exactly what's going on with that Arctic oscillation.
Okay. Enough. Can we talk about April? Is April looking better?
I don't even think we got through March, to be honest.
I'm just at this point. I'm like, my God.
So for March, let's see. I think
you got cold snap in the middle of the month.
Yeah, we got a cold snap. Well, beginning of the month, first or second week in there. It looks like the end of the first week could have a little storm system. Then I think there's going to be a better chance for a more significant storm system right around the beginning of that second week of March, followed by maybe some cold air right around St. Patty's Day. Yeah, that could be an interesting one. And then we'll watch again a little interesting system. I got a feeling it'll probably come back around and get us pretty good at the end of March as well. And then we'll kind of turn back into that stormier pattern for that first 7-10 days of April.
Stormy pattern, huh?
Yeah, that'll likely be our little Clipper parade.
Yeah, how about temp-wise?
You said Clipper, so I don't think that was a positive.
Yeah, usually, yeah.
Well, a Clipper in April can't be as cold as a Clipper in January.
This is true.
You know, I got a feeling that we're going to start off April on the cold side, so I'm going to go out there and say that it's probably going to be a long winter.
Right.
But then I think we'll start to recover on that back half. Last week of April, we'll start to recover into more average temperatures into May.
Is it looking better than, because remember last year we basically did not have a spring. It took forever for it to finally warm up here. It was like way into May.
And part of that was because it was so wet too. Yeah. You know, it was really tough to warm things up, and we keep having the storm systems come through here in the spring. So
how about this year?
I don't think it will not be as wet as it was last spring. Okay. It does not look like it. Do you agree, Gary?
I agree, but I don't understand, Jay. You didn't have a spring? You had a spring. It was just a snowy spring.
Yeah. Doesn't bode well for using the pool, Gary.
Hey,
you have to invest in a heater.
The year before in May, remember, in 21, we went from 30 degrees to 100 degrees in like 7 days. We had a freeze.
It was fabulous.
Yeah, so not so much, but sure. But we did do that before.
I want that to start in March. That's what I want that
so
to happen.
you're wanting what happened 2 years ago.
Yeah. I remember, March, all of a sudden, it was like, bam, it's summer. Yeah, It was crazy. All right, we got tons of emails.
That's not going to happen.
Tons of emails. We're going to get to the emails, and then we'll get back to the phones and your phone calls after the bottom of the hour. You're listening to the Winter Weather Outlook Special, brought to you exclusively by Jiffy Lube. On 970 WDAY, 93.1 FM, also on AM 1100 The Flag and 92.3 FM. For you folks on The Flag that are missing your Jimmy Failure, 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock's Chris Berger Show. 4 o'clock, we're going to take the simulcast off, and we'll just be here on our station, WDAY. All right, so when we come back, we'll address the emails, your questions. If you got specific dates, we can do that too.
Let's hit on ag too.
We got to hit ag.
Hit more on ag.
I got a whole list of stuff here.
Okay, so we'll when we come back, we'll focus on ag as well with Bridgette. Let me see if I can slip a couple. How much time do we got, Ronnie? About 2 minutes left here?
You got about
60 seconds? Okay, we can do this one in a minute. Jay, would you ask about traveling to Watertown, South Dakota area next Tuesday and Wednesday, please? Wife is making relatively extensive provisions to get her mother out. Get her mother out of a nursing home to a hotel to have Christmas gathering with her and the kids.
Leave before Monday.
Leave before Monday or wait until late next week.
All right, Mike, leave before Monday
or late next week. But I'm assuming they're coming back the same day. It's not that far. If it's a one-day trip, you can do it Monday. Otherwise, I would wait until late next week.
All right, Mike, make sure you email me back so I know that you've you heard that. Jay, you tell Bridgette and Dean to stop reminding us of how cold last year was. It's so damn depressing. Yeah, I hear you, Jace, man. I'm with you, brother.
Sorry, sir. Sorry.
Hey, okay, I got a question. So next Friday, I'm out doing Fill the Boot. I'm outside doing my show a week from this Friday. That would be, what, the 16th?
Yes.
What's that look like?
Cold.
Oh, it was brutally cold last year.
It shouldn't be snowing, though, so that's
I
good.
don't care about the snow from outside.
Backside. Yeah, you'll be on the backside of that storm, Jay, so there will be some very light snow, but very cold.
Of course, of course.
Brutal.
It was so cold last
cold.
year that the equipment shut down. I had to, for the first time ever, move it inside.
Did you hear what Gary said?
I heard brutal. I heard brutal.
Yeah. Dean, I don't know about you. I'm getting a few messages here and there, people trying to guess what the cycle length is, seeing if they were listening closely enough.
I've got
all I
a ton
gotta
of them
say
too.
is you're wrong.
All right, we'll get to the emails, the phone calls. We'll get back to those as well. We only have about a half hour left with Gary when we come back, but this will continue into the 4 o'clock hour. So if you've got a question, you got to, whether it's involving a date or the weather, the LRC 7 or ag, whatever, 701-293-9000. Email studio at WDAYradionow.com. More of our winter weather outlook special when we come back.
They'll have you laughing right along with them. They're Bonnie and Friends.
Did you see that fat bear, number 747?
That was eating a lot of salmon. A little chubby.
Chubby? Chubby? It should have had tires.
He's storing up for winter. He's got to hibernate.
The fattest bear I've ever seen.
The chubby champ of 2022.
I guess. That's a fat bear.
Even bears come in all different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
Bonnie and Friends. Catch them weekday mornings beginning at 5.
You did it again, Fargo Moorhead. Thanks for voting Fix It Forward Auto Care the best auto care of Red River Valley 3 years in a row, including the categories of Best Tire Retailer and Best Customer Service. Plus, Fix It Forward Ministry won Best Local Nonprofit. We're honored and we promise to continue serving our great community, providing you the best auto care experiences. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care.
North Dakota is a special place.
Oil and gas supports more than 60,000 jobs in the state of North Dakota.
And the industry is vital to our economy, adding nearly $4 billion in state and local tax revenues.
Why would we buy oil from dictators when we have it right here? We produce it the cleanest, the greenest of anywhere in the world.
Keep creating great jobs, and right here in North Dakota.
We support North Dakota oil and gas.
Paid for by American Experiment, North Dakota. AmericanExperimentND.org.
Hey, it's Jay Thomas. I'm out on the road a lot with my rides truck, but even when I'm home, I'm always near a PetroServe USA. And when I go to PetroServe, they always have great hot coffee. I love the Lewis and Clark Hazelnut. Breakfast, lunch, cold drinks, and everyone's favorite, the 4 for $4. Your car or truck has choices too, with American refined petroleum straight from Canada and the Bakken. From regular to premium, unleaded E85 or 88, PetroServe USA has what you need and your vehicle needs as well. Helping America fuel better.
Food, football, and fun in the fall. Tailgaters brings it all together with their all-you-can-eat lunch buffet from 11 to 2 weekdays, or dinner and a nice cold beverage after work. Tailgaters is the place. There's no better place to watch football on Saturday and Sunday, and every game day you get their never-frozen, fresh-made half-pound burgers with fries for just $10.99. Domestic pints and bottles just $4, and live music this Friday night at 7 with Mike Morse live at Tailgaters. Corner of Main and University, downtown Fargo. Tailgaters.
Hi, this is Kevin Piper with Piper's Auction Company. Piper's upcoming December auctions include 280 acres of exceptional cropland in Clay County near Barnesville and Cragness, Minnesota. 295 acres of cropland in Ransom County. 320 acres of cropland in Lemoore near Dickey, North Dakota. 780 acres of cropland near Chaffee, North Dakota and Cass County. 503 acres in Bottineau County near Westover. And an excellent line of gravel trailers and semi for DG Trucking in Bismarck. View these auctions and many more land and equipment auctions at Pipers.com.
You heard the news that Twitter censored conservatives big time. They also suppressed information about Hunter Biden's laptop. Now Eric Bolling is on Newsmax, exposing Twitter's war on President Trump. Tune in tonight to watch Eric Bolling, The Balance, for news you need to know. And make sure you vote in Newsmax Urgent Poll. Do you want Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis as your candidate in 2024? Newsmax wants to know what you think. Vote in the Newsmax poll on Trump versus DeSantis. Just text the word ZONE to 39747. That's ZONE to 39747. Let your voice be heard. I tune into Newsmax for news I can trust. And remember, vote in Newsmax poll on Trump versus DeSantis. Text ZONE to 39747. That's ZONE to 39747. And make the switch to Newsmax. I did. You'll love it.
Hey, you missed the turn. We just passed Brockmeyer Tile and Stone. It's back there.
Where are we going? Brockmeyer Tile and Stone, you know.
They specialize in custom granite and quartz fabrication and installation.
And laser measuring, so we don't have to worry about a thing. I hear their projects are always amazing.
Brockmeyer Tile and Stone, just south of Costco on Veterans Boulevard.
Granite and quartz, it's what we do, baby.
Bored with the same old menu, the same old fixtures? It's time to establish new traditions like we have at Traditions Restaurant and Bar. They have great breakfast items like their Frenchata Toast, Eggs Benny, and their Bloody Mary. Wow! Traditions has multiple happy hours, a new party room where you can celebrate occasions, big or small. They have darts, blackjack, pool, electronic pull tabs, and a liquor store to take the party home. Start a new tradition at Traditions Restaurant and Bar, conveniently located at 3330 Cheyenne Street South in West Fargo. All right. Should have booked a 3-week trip to Florida hearing this, man. Welcome back. 3:35. This is the Jay Thomas Show, and today we are having our winter weather outlook special brought to you exclusively. It's sponsored by Jiffy Lube of Fargo, locally owned and operated over 40 years. 3 Fargo locations, and you never need an appointment. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more to Jiffy. With us is Gary Lezak. He is the founder of the LRC, the Lezak Recurring Cycle, Weather 2020. And also Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki is with us. Justin Storm, our meteorologist as well. And Ag Director Bridgette Readel. And let me grab Steve here. Then we'll get into some ag stuff, too. Steve, you're up on the Jay Thomas Show.
Yeah, I had 2 questions about February. We're looking at some trips. One is Oklahoma City, the weekend of the 10th, 11th, 12th. And the other is Denver, the weekend of the 24th, 25th, 26th.
Hold on. Dean is rubbing his magic 8-ball.
That's going to take about 4 minutes of analysis.
I'm not
those
or
are
anything.
good questions. If you can ask that question, I can work on that. So what is the first date? Let's do one of them and see if we can try to figure this out.
What's the first date, Steve?
Oklahoma City, February 10th, 11th, and 12th.
February 10th, 11th, 12th, Oklahoma City. Let's get my brain working. So that would be.
I think you're going to fall right in a window right there, like a good window.
Yeah, I think that
right
looks
before,
good.
like right before and right after.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Excellent.
Yeah, you're falling into that window, according to Justin.
Are you flying or driving?
Well, we're not sure. We're thinking of driving. That might be the challenge.
No. But it looks good, Gary and Justin.
Well, Oklahoma City only averages 8 inches of snow a year, so it very rarely snows down there. But the journey to there could be tough.
No, okay. Steve, fly. Fly, buddy.
Yeah, we might do that.
Fly the friendly skies, pal. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. All right, Bridgette, you wanted to dive in. You got a ton of folks that are reaching out to you, too.
My gosh. So between Twitter, Snapchat, and text messages, I am getting all sorts of stuff. If you are thinking about, this is from a listener in South Dakota, needing to haul cattle from eastern South Dakota to Denver the first week of January. This is for the Denver Stock Show. They're hauling bulls for show. What are we looking at for a window of opportunity there? I hear clipper, I hear cold, but do I hear storm? Any thoughts?
In early January?
Right around January 1st.
Clippers can be storms. They can turn into some good blowing snow events.
Well, what's the damn weather? Okay.
Well, the exact intensity is hard to exactly pinpoint.
So we're going to say cold for sure.
Now, let me just look real quick. I just want to look and see what happened in the first cycle, because that's going to be in the second half of the second cycle, and it was quite stormy then. I just want to see when I'm thinking there's a big system that's going to come down. Oh, there is one system. Let's see here. It's dry. What do you guys think? It looks dry that first week of January, maybe.
It looks cold and dry. With the first cycle, we had the Clipper systems hit us, but it was an inch here, an inch there. It wasn't that big, but there was a lot of wind with it. Assuming that the cold air is a little deeper, that jet stream is a little further south, more than likely it should be dry with possibly a Clipper system or two, but I think most of that, as Justin was alluding to earlier, will probably be south. It's earlier in that week, right after Christmas or right around that time, where we could see a bigger storm system.
And this matters not just for road conditions, but if you're hauling livestock, do you have to stop? How often do you need to water them? Because if it's that cold, they need additional water, they need additional feed. So you have to make provisions depending on how long you're going to be on the road with that trailer.
Right.
All right. What's your next one?
Okay. So how about looking ahead here? If we are thinking about some of these major storms and southerly winds as we get closer to spring, we can actually start to see if it's drier to our south, where there's maybe less snow. Could we possibly see some tar spot spores or soybean aphids start to blow up this direction? I think this is directed more towards once we get into April and we have less snow cover, could we see more southerly winds? Any ideas on that, you guys?
That's a good question.
We're maybe not ready
That's
to
why
answer
she's
that
asking
yet.
you.
Yeah, Bridgette, these are the questions that we will have really good answers for when we really narrow in on the cycle.
Great.
The amazing thing is Dean tries to get me to come on Jay Thomas show like 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, no, we have to wait till December. And so there's a reason for that, and literally, as I said, by January 5th, we really narrow in on that cycle, and from January 5th to September, that is the sweet spot of where the LRC really, really is accurate. So that's why for agriculture interests, for the planting and growing and harvest, that's the sweet spot of what the LRC is able to do. The gray area is always around October and November as it's setting up. December, it's all coming together. And so that's why Justin and Dean are just an incredible team, and they're putting this together for you guys with so much confidence. But we really get even that next level of confidence so we can answer these questions for you very soon.
Well,
2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now.
I'm keeping my list of questions, so if I don't get an answer now, we'll be asking as it gets closer, because Lord only knows about planting dates.
Right, and we'll do a spring.
Yes, we will.
A spring special too, when we get that really dialed in and we got a good idea of the pattern. We can really average out what that oscillation is within the LRC, and that's where we get a much better idea.
But overall, I think for the ag community this year, it's not going to be like last year.
Okay.
It does not look like we're going to have a wet spring where it was delayed planting.
Right.
And temperatures should be pretty close to, maybe a little bit below normal. But do you see drought conditions continuing for North Dakota? Now, it looked like south of here, Gary, a better chance for those drought conditions continuing as we head into the spring. Is that correct?
Yeah, right now the outlook I did a January 1st to June 30th outlook in our prediction for precipitation, and it has western Kansas into South Dakota as very dry. So the drought may be continuing in that region where it's been so dry. The shift away from La Nina may help out. It may help start contracting that drought, but that's something of a concern because you're going to be on the northern fringe of what will be a very dry region. So it's something to watch very, very closely.
You know, that kind of bleeds into a question that I wanted to ask you, Gary, because this is something that me and Dean had kind of been passing back and forth and trying to figure out. You know, we've had a lot of systems that have passed just through our south that have gone through, you know, the central U.S. and affected them more than us in this first cycle of the LRC. When we start transitioning into summer, that jet stream starts retreating, do you think that those longer dry stretches that we've been experiencing through that first half of that cycle are going to become a little bit shorter and shorter with a couple more of those systems reaching into the North Dakota area that's going to bring in a little bit more timely rain than, say, like a 2-week stretch where it's just been dry and slightly above average in temperatures?
We'll have to see how the summer lines up on the LRC with that first half dry and the second half wet. And as a lot of you experienced by learning about the LRC last year, the accuracy was very, very good until right around August. And right around August, it dried out a lot. And so maybe it'll get wet this August. It's just something to monitor closely. But if you have these specific questions, and everyone, I did leave television Thursday, was my last day on the air after a 38-year career. And yes, I cried like a baby on the air. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I might not want to see it. But you know, I really appreciate it. Any of these questions that come up, if you do join, I will have more time to answer some of these specific questions to help. So if you just go, once again, that account is weather2020.substack.com. It's only $300 for a whole year, but I will answer some of your questions. And let me know what county you're in the next report due out right around the first day of winter, December 20th. I will address a lot of the counties and see what our model actually shows, because our patent pending model, which is going to be fully patented next year, it projects all the way out to next September right now. So I'm going to look at that and see what looks right. And if it looks right, I will post it and share it with you.
All right, let me grab Rob here. Hey, Rob, you're up on the Jay Thomas Show.
Hey, guys. Hi, Gary. Jay, I love the show.
Thank you.
It's interesting stuff here. So, Gary, I got a question for you. We've got about 10 of us that are flying out. We're going tropical January 26th, and we have to fly through Chicago. And it's always kind of puts everybody on edge going through that airport out there. So I'm just curious if you see any weather up in this area towards Chicago during that time period, or.
Rob said Chicago, and all I can think is don't go through there. Don't go through Chicago if you have to.
Yeah. Make sure you're armed.
This is the beauty of the LRC, though. I don't know if you made your plans yet or not, but maybe Dean and Justin can address that a little bit later, or you can join and ask me that specific question that I would be able to answer that specific question as soon as we narrow in on the cycle. But if the beauty of the LRC, if it looks dry, I'll let you know it's going to be dry with no storm systems. And if it looks like there's a storm, you'll just know that there's a storm in that period. So hopefully we can rule it out. Same thing for weddings and events. People need this information. If we know it's going to be a great day for the event, we can let you know. But of course, if it isn't, we're not going to lie. We'll tell you there's a possible storm there. And with my wedding forecast, I've been almost 100% accurate. And the brides love it.
I bet they do.
Even if there's a chance of rain, they have a peace of mind.
But do we have an idea for him?
A quick peek.
Quick peek here for you, Rob.
You've got your calendar. So he said the 27th, right?
26.
I think
I
think he's going to fall right before the possibility of a bigger storm coming in towards the end of the month. Mm-hmm. Is that what you've got there, Justin?
Yeah, I was kind of looking at that 27th. The 30th of January, maybe February 1st, somewhere in there, and I want to say it's probably going to lean a little later.
It's going to, it seems to be, I would say more towards the 29th through the 31st. So I think he should be falling in that safer window.
You're gonna get to the tropics. You're gonna get through Chicago. It's gonna be fine, and then there's gonna be a storm that hits Chicago 3 days later.
So you got to come home, Rob.
Yeah, well, I don't care about coming home, Jay, but can you come sell my driveway for me?
Yeah, that dog don't hunt. Yeah, that ain't happening. Rob, appreciate the phone call. Let's see here. Let me start with my Facebook stuff. Not our smartest decision, guys, but we will be flying into Fargo from Phoenix for a long weekend on January 19th. What does the forecast look like for us? I got nothing for that week in January.
I've got
Cold.
something. Yeah.
Cold. Well, cold, but stormy, no, right?
Do you have something around the 18th?
I got something on the 18th, yes.
Right.
What do you have?
A possible storm
Good
system.
Lord. Okay.
I don't think it's going to be a big one, but
it's a
it's
fast-moving system.
Yeah, it's a quick
it's
one. Nothing
just a
big.
small one.
Yeah, it's a small one. Nothing big.
Okay.
So it should be okay. Just cold.
All right. Jake, West Fargo, you're up on the winter weather outlook special on the Jay Thomas Show.
Thank you, sir. I was wondering if you'd tell me what the weather's going to be like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day at 992 Mulberry Lane.
I got. You know what? You don't need these guys. I'll tell you. Crappy. There's your answer.
I was just kidding on that. My real question was like traveling. It seems like every year we travel. So I got a daughter here and then a daughter in Mandan, and this year it's at Mandan. So what can we expect like around Christmas? For traveling over there.
I think Christmas is going to be fine, but
I think it's right
that
after Christmas.
Right after Christmas, towards the New Year's. I think that's when we kind of turn a little bit more active.
There was a storm system around the 21st, 22nd that passed to our south. We'll have to watch that, but right around the Christmas time looks okay. It's after Christmas we have to worry about.
Again, just
between
maybe
Christmas and New
something
Year's.
just before, and then turning more active right after.
Mm-hmm. All right. So in other words,
Enjoy
your long stay in Mandan.
No, I was just going to say that gives me a good reason to get out of there quickly.
Love it. Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it. Hey, Steve, you're up on the winter weather outlook.
Oh, hey, I got to say, Wysocki there, that I owe him a few drinks. I've gotten a few drinks off of his weather forecast. He's been right, and everybody else will go, no, that's not it. And I go, I listen to him, and I won about a half a dozen drinks.
Nice,
so thanks
sweet.
For that. But yeah, but the question I just got on, I haven't heard anything. So I want to know how many times and how much more snow am I going to blow this winter? Because I'm sure you said it, but I haven't heard it.
Boy, that's narrowing it down, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I'm about sick of doing it, too.
Maybe we haven't done all of our snow guesses. It'd be interesting to see if Gary has a number that he thinks for the area, too.
Let's answer his question. And so since he just joined us, my prediction of snowfall for this season, now normally we're right around 52, 53. 46, I said 46.2 inches for this winter. We'll have a couple of possible bigger systems come through the area, but the majority of these are going to be these clipper systems, and with again snowfall averaging a little bit below where we should be.
You want to hear my prediction, Steve?
No, I just want how much snow have we had so far? How much we got left?
We've had, let's see, this last one we got about 2.5. We had about 5 before that.
About
8 inches.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to say 40. Right. I'm going 49 inches.
You're going 49, Gary?
49. But, Jay, what are you saying?
Hey, I'm telling you, Steve, let me make your day. I'm predicting 24 inches for the winter. That's my prediction, Steve.
And Bridgette? What?
I was in at 36.
36? I can live with that.
Yeah.
46?
Gary and Dean, I can't live with your guys' predictions. I'm sorry.
Justin?
I came in at 53.7.
Yeah, you can go too.
And Kyle came in with 49.3, I think.
Something around there.
So Kyle came in with 49
so
inches
most
too.
of us are between 46 and 50.
We've got a golf trip on this, Gary. We've got a golf trip bet on this. So.
All right. Steve,
I'm playing. I'm ready.
All right, Steve, appreciate the phone call. Eric, you're up on the Jay Thomas Show on the Winter Weather Outlook Special, brought to you by Jiffy Lube. What's up, man?
Hey there. I'm flying down to Florida on about January 14th. I was just wondering if there would be a big storm there that might impact that travel.
Nope. I don't see anything.
Boy, that was a quick nope.
Well, it was right. It was close to where the cycle the next cycle will start.
Now, does it make a difference that it's
and at
that's
the
in
start,
Florida?
No, well, he's saying flying out of here. I'm talking about the weather here, not
I think
Florida.
you're going to be just fine.
Yeah,
You're going to be fine.
You'll be fine
Eric.
flying out of here.
Sounds good.
Where in Florida?
Where in Florida you going, Eric?
He's gone.
He's gone.
100% chance of seeing a big red mouse.
Yeah, there you go. Well, no, that depends on where in Florida you go. Todd, you're up. Jay Thomas Show.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
I won some Vikings versus Green Bay at Lambeau on the New Year's Day game. What's the weather going to be like down there other than cold?
Good Lord.
Oh. About 16 beers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, I've got a friend. She's taking her kids to that game outdoor in Lambeau. That was one of the Arctic outbreaks we're expecting in our area. So if it's here, it's going to be there too.
Oh,
yeah, it looks very cold for and maybe a few snow showers. I don't see a big snowstorm, but
cold.
I think it'll be colder here than there, but
because a little bit, but it's still. I mean, yeah, Lambeau, January 1st.
It's going to be cold, Todd.
Yeah. I won 50-yard line tickets, 14th row in.
Nice.
Hotel. And,
Wow.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool for the place that I work at. So
Here's what I would do.
Definitely gonna go.
I've got.
Hold on. Here's what I would do.
Oh, Gary's got something.
Hold on.
Okay.
Get in that
I've got
hotel room. Get in that hotel room.
I'm
Turn
calling
the
up
game on. That's what you do. Turn the game on in the hotel room down there.
So I just called up Wisconsin on my computer model.
Okay.
We can get down to that level. But let me just see what it has here. It's calculating it right now. Let's see. It's all right. Come on, Wisconsin. Okay, here it has. It has a storm on the 30th, and the 31st it goes away. It's dry on the 1st.
Dry
but cold.
And it has a low of 4 degrees. So yeah, cold. There you go.
There you go, Todd. Enjoy the game. 3:54. Oh, to Fingal. Aaron, it's Jay Thomas Show Winter Weather Outlook Special.
Hello, Jay and Derek. So the last week of February, I'm flying to Olongapo City in the Philippines, and I'm coming back the last week of March. In and out, is it going to be okay?
Last week in February, flying out.
Yep, flying back the last.
First week of February and the last week of March, returning from the Philippines.
Everybody's shuffling papers and
Hold on,
looking
they're
for
shuffling
it.
papers.
Shuffle in. I think
Quitter.
leaving, you'll be fine.
Quitter.
Leaving, you look okay, and he's returning
end of March.
End of March.
End of March.
Last week of March.
You know, I think you're going to be good out, good in.
Yeah, it looks okay.
Oh, good
From
in,
this
good
standpoint,
out.
there's a possibility that storm around St. Patty's Day, and then after that should be okay until early. We might have something coming in here early April.
There you go.
What's it going to be like in the Philippines?
I just called the Philippines.
Gary's going to
Gary knows.
I just called the Philippines, and we want to go with you. It has a high of 84 degrees every day.
What did you say, Gary?
Yeah,
84.
84 every day.
84 degrees there every day.
All I hear from
Yeah,
everybody
March.
asking these dates and places is I don't travel enough to warm places.
That's right.
You
There you
should go, Bridgette. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
There you go. Aaron, appreciate it. Hey, I want to see, before I get to Devin and Tolna, hey, Gary, let's see if you match up with Wairida Kawasaki here. March 22nd through the 29th, Mama and I we go every year. We'd be down at St. Pete's Beach, Serrata Beach Resort, Florida. How's it look, buddy?
Okay, I can call it up on my computer model. So this dashboard is pretty cool. So March what?
22nd through the 29th.
In where?
St. Pete's
In
Beach, Florida.
That's your vacation.
So when I have to go I have to leave the Philippines and go over to Florida. Do you know what county it is?
Yeah, it's Pennell County, or what do they call it?
So Fort Myers.
It's
Fort Myers.
No, it's not Fort Myers.
Oh, you're
It's
not staying there?
No, at Clearwater. We're on the Gulf side.
Oh, well, yeah, Fort Myers.
Fort Myers isn't over there. It's on the other side.
Clearwater's north.
Yeah,
Clearwater's north of you.
we're Clearwater, 20
Okay,
miles
I'll
north
just
of
call it
Clearwater.
up here.
Or Clearwater's 20 miles north of St. Pete's. We're just right outside of St. Petersburg, Tampa, right on the coast.
Okay. Okay, it has, so for the, which dates again? The 22nd?
22nd through the 29th of March.
Okay, it's got 75 degrees on the 22nd, warming up to 82 degrees on the 30th. So there you go. And it doesn't have, it has no rain.
Thank you. All right, fantastic. All right, don't have to cancel that trip.
Somebody's coming back in a good
How about
mood.
that?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be leaving in a good mood. All right. All right. Let me, real quick here before we get out of this hour. Devin's in Tolna, North Dakota. Devin, you're up.
Hey, guys. I'm expecting my first child around March 7th. I was just curious what the weather's going to be like.
Congrats.
In the area.
Congrats, brother.
Congratulations.
March 7th, did you say?
Yeah, March 7th.
I've got March 7th and 8th. Justin, right around that time frame, I've got a minor system possibly coming through here.
Yeah, right around March 7th, 8th.
Doesn't look like anything major, but could see a smaller system come through the area.
More importantly, you know what small systems do? Cows calve, women go into labor.
Wow.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Devin. Appreciate it. Hey, Gary, before we let you rock and roll, anything you want to leave with?
No, I just want to say thank you for listening for the third straight year. It's great to be on the show. We'll do a spring update and we'll recap and see how we do. Dean and Justin are going to have an update for you guys in the next week or two as we learn a little bit more about this pattern. The pattern is cycling. Thank you for being customers. A whole bunch of people in North Dakota, I know, there's a little buzz about the LRC going around. I appreciate that. And the rest of the world is going to learn about this in the next few months and years as I put my 100% effort into it. So thank you for the support, everyone. Again, you can become a customer. Go to weather2020.substack.com and a real low price for that 1 year subscription, and I'll get to your county. So thank you, guys. This has been a great 2 hours, and I hope you keep the discussion going. And if you have any questions, just let me know.
Thanks, Gary. Hey, enjoy retirement.
It doesn't sound like he's really retiring.
Well, not really, but
yeah, I got another meeting. I got another meeting in 30 minutes. Then it's martini time.
There you go. All right.
Gary Lezak, thanks, brother, for everything you do, and man, hope to talk to you soon, brother.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, Gary.
Coming up at 4 o'clock, we'll continue the conversation. We will get to, there are so many emails to get to, more of your phone calls. And I think we'll do the snow prediction, too, like we did last year from the listeners. Get that contest.
I know Bridgette's got a bunch more questions, too, so I want to hear more what the ag community's got to say about this and what they're wondering.
Right.
All right, coming up at 4 o'clock, this is the Jay Thomas Show, the Winter Weather Outlook Special, brought to you by Jiffy Lube.
More weather, more news. The biggest team in Fargo-Moorhead is right here. This is WDAY Radio, AM 970 and FM 93.1, Fargo-Moorhead, West Fargo.
Good afternoon, Ty Schoner to WDAY News First. This newscast brought to you by Lakeland General Store for everything you need at the lake. 4 o'clock, fair skies, -1 degree temperatures outside our South Fargo studios. City of West Fargo adopting a new parking ordinance, which is aimed in part at cracking down on drivers who don't pay their parking tickets.
Parking in general is a pretty big topic. Just about every city I've worked in, it's a much probably larger issue than people realize.
Police Chief Dennis Otternes says the ordinance change includes adding late payment penalties to unpaid parking tickets. Now, if a $20 fine is not paid after 10 days, a $5 late payment penalty will be added. If a ticket is delinquent longer than 30 days, the total payment due is $45. Also, vehicles with 2 or more tickets that go unpaid for more than 30 days are subject to a wheel immobilization device, otherwise known as a boot. Fargo police say an elderly missing man has been found safe. Police confirmed this morning that Alfred Von Bank has been located. The 88-year-old was reported missing yesterday afternoon, authorities not disclosing information about where Von Bank was or was found. Director of the North Dakota Department of Commerce is celebrating the announcement that Epitome Energy plans to build a new soybean processing plant in Grand Forks.
It's a $400 million project. It's going to bring about
40-plus million bushels of soybeans to the Grand Forks area to be processed.
Rich Garman commented on the project, but it's expected to break ground this fall and be operational by sometime in 2025. The new plant's expected to bring 50 new jobs to Grand Forks. Garman says North Dakota farmers who have their soybeans processed at the plant will have the ability to make an extra 25 cents per bushel because they won't have to pay transportation costs to have them shipped to processors outside of the region. Today, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum unveiled his proposed record budget for the 2023-25 biennium.
Our strategy-driven executive budget leverages investments in infrastructure, community, economic development for the future, reduces taxes for workers now, while tackling our number one barrier to economic growth, our workforce challenge.
Burgum released his $18.4 billion state budget proposal that would raise spending by nearly 3.5% over the course of a 2-year budget. The plan includes a $5.9 billion general fund. The proposed budget would be the highest in state history. The governor says the state's balance sheet has never been stronger. And flags are flying at half-staff across the state in remembrance of the attack on Pearl Harbor on this date in 1941. Governor Burgum ordered flags lowered to half-staff today and encourages North Dakotans to do the same at homes and businesses. A total of 2,335 military personnel and 68 civilians were killed in the surprise Japanese attack. 4 of the dead were from North Dakota. This is Ty Schoenert with WDAY and WDAYRadioNow.com. More of The Jay Thomas Show coming up.
If you're looking for honest, dependable, over-the-top customer service at affordable prices, you'll want to do business with Welton's Tire Service in Lisbon, North Dakota. Welton's is a name you've grown to trust, proudly serving the area for 50 years. Welton's Tire always works hard for customer satisfaction and service. They offer brands for every make. If you need tires, repair, maintenance, or on-farm tire service, contact Welton's Tire on Main Street in Lisbon. Tell them Beth sent you. Online at weltonstire.net.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. New details in the classified documents case involving former President Trump.
After a federal judge pushed his lawyers to look for any outstanding documents taken from the White House, Trump hired an outside team to conduct a deeper search at 4 properties, including Trump Tower here in New York and Trump's golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey. Sources familiar with the matter told ABC News 2 documents with classified markings were recovered at a storage unit. The Justice Department was notified but declined to comment. The Justice Department has suspected for months it had not recovered all the classified materials despite an August search of Trump's Florida home by the FBI. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Democrats are taking a quick victory lap after Raphael Warnock beat GOP challenger Herschel Walker in Georgia's Senate runoff. The 51-49 majority next term gives Democratic senators more power to avoid partisan gridlock. The Bronx Bombers are keeping its record-setting slugger Aaron Judge, and the Yankees have agreed to a 9-year, $360 million contract. It follows Judge's historic season, hitting 62 home runs and setting a new American League record. 81 years ago today, Japan launched an attack on the U.S. Pacific Fleet stationed at Pearl Harbor, killing more than 2,400 personnel and marking the moment the U.S. entered World War II. In Hawaii, a ceremony today honoring the victims and the few remaining survivors. Lou Conter was stationed on the USS Arizona at the time. The 101-year-old in a video message says he's grateful to his fellow shipmates.
I've been back for many commemorations, and each time I am on the Arizona Memorial, I take a moment to view the names of my shipmates and thank God for their ultimate sacrificing.
You're listening to ABC News.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
We're ready for hard water season at Shields. Assemble your crew, grab your gear, drop that line, and experience the thrill of being out on the ice. Shields has the gear to get you ready. The Shields Ice Fishing Sale runs now through December 11th, which means it's time to save big on ice houses, electronics, lures, and more. Visit your local Shields or shop online at shields.com and get ready to catch that trophy.
Broadcasting live from the Miller High Life Studio, this is the Jay Thomas Show on WDAY.
Oh, there we go. We're back to Jay Thomas Show bumper music. Finally. 407, hour number 3, Jay Thomas Show. Our winter weather outlook special continues. Today's winter weather outlook special is sponsored exclusively by Jiffy Lube of Fargo, locally owned, operated for over 40 years. 3 Fargo locations, and you never need an appointment. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy. Gary is gone. Is he still watching us, or is that screen frozen?
That's just frozen.
Is that frozen?
Yeah.
Okay. Dean Wysocki, Chief Meteorologist, is still here. Meteorologist Justin Storm. Someday he'll grow up and get a chief in front of his name. And
he's our meteorologist extraordinaire.
Chief Ag Director. We'll throw a chief your way.
All right.
Bridgette Readel is here. All right. So I've got a ton of emails. I know you do, Bridgette. Let's hit some more of your ag stuff.
Okay, so a lot of mine are starting to push towards the spring season as well. When we talk about these snowstorms in March and April, that's a lot of calving season for folks. And so they're wondering, as you look at those bigger storm cycles, do you want to, again, just reiterate when those might fall in March and April, because that can change calving season. You can all of a sudden see cows go into labor a little bit earlier, just like women do when that happens, when you have those changes in pressure systems, et cetera. So anything you guys want to throw out there about storms and how that could affect calving season?
Well, I'll let Justin take April if you want, Justin. March looks a couple of minor, maybe a minor system, the 7th and 8th. A bigger system right around St. Patty's Day, maybe the 18th, 19th, 20th, somewhere around in that general area.
You got one around the 27th as well. That'll be a maybe something.
Okay.
Or a maybe system.
Yeah.
Be a good storm. It's just probably goes south.
Right.
Gotcha.
And then that big system that hit Bismarck.
Sometime this fall.
Careful, Dean.
Sometime this fall.
Sometime in early April or right around the 3rd or so. Could see another big system come our way that time.
Okay. Good to keep in mind. And, of course, we don't know exactly what snowfall totals might be. That's what's going to impact our planting dates. So as far as planning ahead for when we're going to actually get in the field, a general rule of thumb is typically we start field work the Monday following Easter. So everybody go look at Easter, see if that's going to help you out, and then we'll overlay that with the dates and times, with the dates that Dean and Justin have been giving us as well. That can help. So I'll keep going, but Jay, you've got some Facebook and emails.
I've got so much stuff here.
Start, and we'll just keep going.
Okay, let's start with okay, nope, folks, they're not giving the exact cycle day, right?
And you know what? And like Gary said, the cycle length will probably change by a day or so.
Sure.
It's set right now at what we think it is, but I'll tell like this storm system coming in next week. It again. Let's see what happens. What the models are predicting and what actually happens are two different things. The system coming in about a day or two late, so that would extend the cycle length maybe by a day or so. So again, we'll have a better handle on this, as Gary said, probably by the end of December. We know what the cycle length is, but it might fluctuate a day or so either side.
All right, heading to Cabo on the 21st of February. Will I be able to get out of Fargo? I don't care about the weather coming back. I just want to be able to get out of Fargo. February 21st.
I think you might be dealing with a little wind event over that time period, maybe mixed with some snow, but probably blowing snow might be a factor.
Yeah, that would be those clipper systems coming through with the Arctic,
by
with
a
the
burst
Arctic
of cold
air.
air, and if that's some really cold air, that'll likely generate some strong winds when it
Yeah.
before that cold air funnels in.
All right, another one. This is for Casey, and Casey's pissed off because somebody was. It says also, please stop clicking and slapping the pen around. Nobody was slapping a pen around.
Gary
was on
like
his,
Gary
when he was
said.
running his model, he was clicking on his keyboard.
Yeah, he's clicking his keyboard. What does the weekend look like for January 12th?
We're going to start charging for this.
Oh, my God. That's
Wait,
what the whole
we're charging
special's
for
all
this?
about, man.
I know. January 12th is
What's
the
the-
weekend, the 14th,
Yeah,
15th?
yeah.
I've got it being quiet.
I got it quiet as well. Quiet and mild.
Well, mild in January terms.
There you go.
Because of your comment, Casey, because of your comment regarding the pen, I was hoping it was going to be rotten. I'm kidding. Emailer wants to know, would the LRC be good for a truck driver? Oh, definitely.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Without a doubt. Pay your $300 a year, and,
And
there
this
you
is-
go, man,
you
wherever
know,
you're traveling.
I told Gary he's got to hook up with UPS, with anywhere that's driving cross-country, these cross-country Warner Trucking, and boy, I mean, I'm sure they have their own meteorology department, but if you could tell these truckers months in
Amazon.
advance, Amazon, you could tell these truckers months in advance of there's going to be a huge storm system in the midsection of the country. You're going to have to reroute stuff.
Okay, so
Oh, yeah, you've got a huge nor'easter rolling up the northeast coast.
But here, ag-related, I have a comment along those lines. And for folks that are thinking about lining up backhauls for grain, or if you're going to be hauling livestock, like you sell your calves in the new year at a certain particular time, you've got trucks or labor lined up, it's best to look at the LRC, subscribe to it, so you know if you can get those trucks in, if you've got to move snow, if you've got labor that's coming in, that type of thing. Because with labor these days, you'd better be spot on. You
Yeah.
can't afford to miss those opportunities.
Yeah, I would echo those comments. You know, if you're driving anything that's not a reefer in a closed trailer, flatbed, hauling fruit, lettuce, things like that, you'd want to know all those things. so.
Absolutely.
By the way, phone lines are open. We're still taking your phone calls, 701-293-9000. Our Thor Building studio line, post-frame construction for ag and commercial industry, thorbuilding.com. Again, if you got a question, a date, whatever it might be, a question about the weather, 701-293-9000. Another email comes in, says, been excited for this show for a while, folks, for all the Minnesota walleye fishermen who have bared notoriously bad weather every fishing opener. How does it look this year, May 13th,
Ooh,
the
that's
fishing
a
opener?
smidge out there, huh?
That is.
May
Phone lines are filling up. We'll get to you in a second.
I only did my calendar out through April.
How far did you go?
I went through July.
Oh, man. Boy, talk about kissing up to the teacher.
Right?
Wow.
Good student.
What do you got for me? You said you think it's going to be pretty good this year?
I think that you're going to be looking at mild temperatures for the time of year, and I don't expect a storm system around that day.
Perfect.
Oh, excellent.
There you go. All right. Hey, guys, missed the first hour. Not sure if this was covered. Every phone has an inaccurate weather app. WDAY has a weather app. Does the LRC have a weather app more accurate than the daily changing forecast?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But again, that's why he's got his website, and you can subscribe to it. It's
Right.
Now, eventually down the road, I'm sure Gary's going to have an app for this.
Yeah, you would think.
The other thing too, when it comes to the app, the WDAY Storm Tracker app is not us.
That's not us.
WDAY TV.
Yeah.
Our app is to connect to the radio station, and I think you can check the weather forecast on there too.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, Jay and crew. I am taking a trip for a school trip down to Orlando, April 16th through the 23rd. Being down there for a few dating in the days in the middle. I'm looking for the possibility of what the weather we could encounter while we are down there. So what's the weather going to be like April 16th through the 23rd in Orlando?
You know, I'd have to go back and double check to see what's going on in the southern portion of the United States, but up in our area, it looks quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for
that's
that
when
time
our
period.
cycle resets right around that time.
But down there, I'd have to go back and double check. So shoot us an email, weather@flagfamily.com. We'll take a look into it over the next couple of days and get back to you on it.
There you go. Another email regarding the potential storm next week. I have I have a flight scheduled out of Fargo Monday morning, 7 a.m. Does it look like flights may be impacted due to that possible storm? Monday you'll be fine.
Monday you'll be
Getting
fine.
out.
All right. Oh, jeez, man, the emails. I got to get phone calls. All my lines are full. Let's start with Mike in Fargo. Mike, you're up on the Jay Thomas Show, the Winter Weather Outlook Special.
Afternoon.
Hey, but
So my question is, because all these soft serves are failing, February 10th, 11th, and 12th, we play pond hockey here in Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
What's the weather going to be like then?
What was it, the 10th, 11th, and 12th?
No, February, what was it, Mike?
February, yep.
Yeah, so that's going to fall right in between a window of a storm system and then the stormier pattern of the LRC. I think it's going to be okay, but keep in mind that if it rolls in a day or two sooner, which it's possible, right around the 13th is when I expect that stormier portion to begin. So it'll be right after is what I'm expecting right now, but just keep up to date on it.
Is it going to be really cold, or is it going to be? Because we played in 20 below zero before.
Dude,
I think
it's February in North Dakota. What do you think?
I think temperatures over that weekend are going to be about where they should be for February, followed by a dump of cold air.
And what are they? What should they be for that time of February?
February, they should be. I think it's about 20 degrees.
Oh, about 20
about
degrees.
average. So I don't know,
terrible.
10 to 20 degrees somewhere.
You guys would be sweating it out there, Mike. You'd be sweating it, buddy.
So what you're saying is cross my fingers and hope.
Hope it stays on the current cycle length.
Yeah, if it stays on a current cycle length, you're going to be fine.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Got an open line call now. You're in. Out to Horace. Kevin, Jay Thomas Show.
Yeah, I was listening earlier when you could say you predicting all this high gust winds from time to time. I know in the western part of North Dakota, my brother-in-law lives. They have been hit with heavy winds over and over and over and over again. It's just unbelievable.
I know.
And I'm not talking about just 25 miles an hour. I'm talking 60, 70 sustained winds.
Yeah, they're getting nailed out there. So what's your question?
Well, is there any more wind coming that direction?
That was a pretty good bet that they're going to continue to be windy through the upcoming winter. So probably a lot of blowing snow out there if they keep snow on the ground.
And that's what matters.
The first 3 days of deer hunting list, we couldn't do nothing because we had sustained 60-mile-an-hour winds.
Right.
Yeah, it's been nuts out there. Just crazy. Kevin, appreciate it. Out to Breckenridge, Marlis, Jay Thomas Show, Winter Weather Outlook Special.
Hi.
Hey.
So it's the end of the third hour today.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about a storm system, December 21st and 22nd. That was mentioned earlier, but at that end of the third hour, they talked about a storm system on the 21st, 22nd that might go south. Now, when you say it might go south, what are we talking about?
Well, the first cycle it went down
through
into
the central and southern
plains.
United States, probably providing severe weather to the southeast, eastern Texas, Louisiana, into those Gulf states over there towards Florida. I think it'll probably more than likely affect that same area as we go into December again, coming up here.
Okay, I'm thinking about Missouri, Iowa. I have company coming through that area, over by the cities. So that's why I was wondering if the system's going south. What are we?
Yeah,
what are we talking
that's
about?
more than likely where it's going to be affecting.
Oh, okay. Bad news.
Yeah, it's not good news.
Bad news.
It's not good news.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll follow it and see how it goes.
Let us know when you get to that date what happens.
All right, now Marlis, I just before we hang up, I want to reiterate this. Dean and Justin, okay? Those are the two that just broke your heart. It wasn't me or Bridgette. It was those two knuckleheads.
And what we'll be doing over the next week or two, we'll be putting our calendar online, kind of like we did last year, and we'll kind of we'll kind of pinpoint the days that we think are going to be kind of target dates of any bigger storms to worry about.
I followed you last year every day.
Well, thank you.
And I really appreciate this.
Great. Thank you, Marlis. Glad you listen. We love you. All right, down to Hankinson. Joel, Jay Thomas Show.
Yeah, we're having a family get-together February 16th through the 19th. Are we looking at storms or wind or anything like that?
Are you close with the family? Do you really want to go?
You really want to
That's a loaded question. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, watch
say that.
yourself.
There might be other people listening.
So February 16th through the 19th, and where at?
Hankinson.
All right, so right before that, somewhere around the 14th and 15th is when we're getting one of those signature storms, one of the bigger storms to cycle through. Again, if that pushes back a day or two, it might affect you. And then it just that's when we turn cold, and with those clipper systems coming in. So the 16th through the 19th they look cold with a few clipper systems at this point.
Okay, that gives me a reason to maybe get out of it.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. I knew it. Thanks, Joel. Appreciate it. I saw Joel and Hankinson and went, no, can't be.
Hey,
No.
trust me, I was listening.
No,
Yeah.
I thought about it.
That's why I'm in Ronnie's ear to talk back. Like, Ronnie, is that who I think it is? Is that knucklehead calling me? Let's see. Maybe I missed it. Heading to Texas, San Antonio, leaving December 26th, returning December 30th. How's the weather looking for that? So looks like he's concerned about leaving and coming back to Fargo.
You said it was the 26th or the 30th?
No, he's leaving the 26th, returning the 30th.
That would be right in between the window of that big storm.
He's going to have a big storm roll through right while he's gone. That'd be a great time to leave.
That would be a great time to leave.
But you're going to have to clean up. You're going to have to clean up when you get home, Jeff.
So, Jay, I've got one over here. So, with looking towards spring, okay, and I know that this is all going to be more accurate starting around the 1st of January, but when do we think we're going to start to see a warm-up? Because a couple growers have said if that's happening, we need to start thinking about pre-emergent herbicides, because if we have an opportunity where the soil temperature warms up, we start to see some of those early emerging weeds like kochia can be one of the first ones to come out of the ground. Should we be increasing our prepay on pre-emergent herbicides or lay-by herbicides right now before the end of the year?
You know, I think the back half of March, we're going to see a nice little warm-up for the time of the year. So, temperatures back into the 40s, hopefully. Then 40, maybe a couple of right around 50-degree days around that time period, the back half of March. Then I think that first half of April, we're going to drop back down below average. We'll get cold. We'll start to warm back up towards the end of April, and then into May, I think, is where we'll really start to take back off.
Okay, so that's also going to help us start to think about planting dates, that type of thing, because we want to get that soil temp to that 50-degree mark before we really hammer home on getting planting rolling, etc.
And what time do people usually want to be planted? I know we've covered this before, but
7, 8 a.m., I don't know.
When there's still just a light frost in the ground. So again, we talk about field work usually beginning, especially for small grains, the Monday following Easter. I would have to quick pull up when Easter falls in 2023. I don't have.
So how does that work when it bounces between March and late April?
Fascinatingly enough, still seems to work out in a lot of ways.
All
and
right.
Western North Dakota, they generally warm up ahead of us, and they're going to get in that field first. So that'll also help us kind of predict as it rolls across the east too. So tell me when it's going to warm up out there, and they'll tell you how long until it warms up over here with my very inaccurate forecasting, unlike the LRC.
Yeah, Hazen's considered the tropics of North Dakota. So, yeah.
424 right now, 701-293-9000. You got a weather question for the LRC. Again, it's set, but it's really going to be set come first week in January?
Yeah, it's set right now, but it'll probably fluctuate a day or two. But
the fluctuation part.
You think a day or two isn't that big, but when you cycle that out all the way through the late summer, you're 4, 5, 6, 7 days off.
I don't think Dean was that funny.
No, it's the email.
He's got the email.
It says, Jay, Joel might not be listening. Oh, he's listening. But I bet there's a tall guy somewhere hanging on every word. You're a rock star, Mark. You really are.
Great.
Hey, Karen in Fargo, you're up on a Jay Thomas Show on the Winter Weather Outlook Special brought to you by Jiffy Lube. What's up, Karen? You're not calling for management, are you?
No, I always get that, but thanks.
You've never heard that before, Jay.
Just wondering if a person's traveling like the 25th through the 30th. I just heard you say something about some storm, and I missed it because I was working.
That's
right.
Well,
want to just
I think Jeff said Jeff was the guy going to San Antonio, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the 20, leaving the Christmas looks okay. Looks like we'll have the possibility of a bigger storm, 27th, 28th period, and then followed by very cold weather with possible numerous clipper systems coming through from the 31st through the first week in January.
Thank you, Karen, for being fully employed. You said you were working and missed part of that, so we appreciate
That's
it.
fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
You're
Karen.
welcome.
Appreciate it. Let's see. Jay, are we going to be able to get out of Fargo? Here we go. December 28th. Going to Hawaii for 2 weeks. We'll be able to can we get out? That's all I care about. Can we get out of Fargo? That's what I care about Florida, too. Can I get out on the 22nd?
That would be questionable. That would be right around the time frame of one of those signature storms coming through here.
Oh, Brenda.
So that might
Brenda,
lead into
that
some
hurts.
delays there out of Fargo.
Oh.
Well, if it's like the last one, they might not get out. Well, depending on the track of it.
Yeah, because chances are they're going from Fargo to Minneapolis. And if that thing hits Minneapolis, Brenda.
Yep.
Well, you may have cold here, but if you're heading to Hawaii, depending on where you're going, you got Mauna Loa to deal with.
That's the big island.
Yeah.
It's nothing to worry about.
Melikaliki Maka.
That's overplayed.
Nikki Nuki Waka, what?
Yeah, he's from vacation, or Christmas
Yeah,
vacation.
Christmas Vacation. Best
It is
movie
overplayed,
ever.
but it's a good tune.
Best movie ever. So February 1st through the 3rd.
I wasn't talking about
National-
the song. I was talking about all the lava coming out. That's overplayed.
Well, there is a lot of lava.
Yeah.
February 1st through the 3rd, National Cattlemen's Beef Association Convention in New Orleans. Have we looked ahead a little bit for that? Because right around January 1st, we're going to have people who are asking what travel plans might look like.
Getting out of here?
Getting out of here, getting to New Orleans. So if
New Orleans.
I'll put that down on my reminder to be asking the first week of January. Can you get there from here? It's one more meeting that's coming up.
See Dean over there shuffling. I'll wait to see what he's got
I'd
to
like
say.
to just take Dean's papers and put them in actual
exactly.
calendar order because currently
January, February, March, April.
I've got it quieter here.
It's a hot mess, and he wonders
Well,
why he
actually,
can't find a gal at the lake
there's a
place.
storm right at the end of January.
Okay, right at the end.
And then quiet for the first few days in February.
All right, that's going to be important.
Well, I think that answers this, listener. We're heading to Puerto Rico on February 3rd/4 and returning around the 12th, 13th of February. What are we in for?
Leaving fine, returning
Maybe
be
not.
iffy again. You have some cleanup work on that day.
Cleanup work?
Cleanup work.
Okay, is that what we're calling
That's
it
what
now?
we're calling it now.
We don't have the balls to call it a storm anymore.
That's
It's just cleanup
one
work.
one of the signature systems around that day when you return.
Here we go. Here's another one. Jay, will you ask the guys about the predictions of snowpack out west in the northern Rockies? Sure would like to see some big snows out that way to give Lake Sakakawea some good runoff to raise the lake level for those walleyes. Kent out in Dickinson.
Good question. Northern Rockies, talk Montana and
yeah,
Yeah, that whole system through Fort
Idaho. Oh, boy, I'd say
tough one.
Yeah, they're not really in the main storm track. They've been getting some pretty decent snows so far, nothing great. It looks like the main snows have really been hitting a little further south into areas of California, Utah. Even Colorado, their snowpack is a little bit below, not much, but a little bit below normal for this time of the year.
All right.
So and it'll more than likely be a little less in the northern Rockies. Again, that's the way it looks now. So
okay. All right, Jay, heading out to Northern California on Christmas Day and returning January 1st. What is the weather going to be like in Crescent City, California, or the Redwoods National Forest?
That'll be a Gary question.
That's a Gary question.
Or just have them
Or
email.
we'll have
them
to
email us,
go
and
back
we can
and do some
We can look at
analysis.
we can look at. We don't have that at the click of a button like Gary does. We would have to look at the maps.
So, Daniel, just go ahead and email the boys what?
Weather at flagfamily.com.
Weather at flagfamily.com, and they can pinpoint that for you. All right, more emails, more your calls when we come back. 701-293-9000. Email is studio at WDAYradionow.com. It is the Winter Weather Outlook Special brought to you exclusively by Jiffy Lube of Fargo, locally owned and operated with 3 convenient Fargo locations. And you never need an appointment. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy. Don't forget, locally owned and operated for over 40 years. Get you some of that. Holy smokes, I just checked. Oh, my God. Oops. Yeah, I didn't see all those coming in.
Okay, we got more.
4:30. We may have to wait and save the snow prediction for Friday on the show.
We might, yeah. Why
Yeah,
don't we
we're
do
not gonna
that?
have time. All right. If you're trying to get through earlier on the phones, all my lines are open. 701-293-9000. Jay Thomas Show.
Let's face it, there's nothing fun about having your home listed and on the market. There are many things to consider when selling your home, such as costly repairs, packing, cleaning, depersonalizing, inspections, appraisals, strangers walking through your home, the inconvenience of open houses and unexpected showings that kick you out of your home just as you're sitting down for dinner. Not to mention the uncertainty of knowing if your home will even sell and at what price, or even the timeline for which your home will close. At JK Property Partners, we've created a solution to the traditional way you sell your home. If you're looking to bypass the headache and emotional roller coaster of selling your home, we will buy your house as is. No commissions, no showings or inspections. You can even close on your home and have a check in hand in as little as 2 weeks. Especially in these uncertain times, now is the time to receive your instant offer. Call me, John Masala, JK Property Partners, jkpropertypartners.com.
The lakes might be freezing, but you don't have to be. Gear up for a successful season of ice fishing with everything you need from Lakeland General Store, right in the middle of lakes country. Whether you're looking for rods, tackle, live bait, augers, or ice houses, we've got what you need to catch the big ones. Your turn for a bite? Grab some hot and ready-to-go food, snacks, and drinks. Stop at the Lakeland General Store before hitting the ice for all your fishing essentials this winter. Located just south of Detroit Lakes, Highway 59, Dunvilla.
At Wimmer's Diamonds, we believe in love, in family, and traditions. Hi, this is Aaron Wimmer inviting you to visit our new showroom where we can help you find the perfect gift for that special someone in your life. For more than 103 years, our family's been helping your family celebrate the special moments with beautiful reminders of love. Wimmer's Diamonds, 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo.
Hey Fargo Moorhead, let us introduce ourselves. We're Brockmire Talent Stone, and we invite you to sprint on over to our amazing new showroom. You'll be pumped to see the countertops you can score. Brockmire Talent Stone has a selection of 10 stock quartz colors to offer a streamlined process and quick turnaround time. Brockmire Talent Stone, just south of Costco on Veterans Boulevard.
And yeah, we have white quartz with gray veining.
Granite and quartz, it's what we do, baby.
Today's Jay Thomas Show is brought to you by United Automotive Tech Center. They do everything.
Good afternoon, Ty Schoner to WDAY News First. 4:33, fair skies, negative 5-degree temperatures outside our South Fargo studios. Another update has come in on a story that's rocked the community in South Moorhead. Moorhead Police Department tells us that the assistance of employees of Masonite International, Rusia's Colley's 2016 black Honda Pilot, was located today in Wahpeton. Colley is the woman who authorities say was stabbed to death by her son, James Colley Jr., in her home in South Moorhead last week. Colley Jr. then fled to Wahpeton in the car, according to law enforcement, and was found at the Maytage Home Laundry last Friday evening. Residents in Wahpeton and Breckenridge areas are still asked to contact law enforcement if they have any video evidence or know anything related to Colley Jr.'s run. He is currently in Clay County facing a second-degree murder charge. It's now against the law to feed wild geese in the city of West Fargo.
They were looking for the commission to come up with some sort of solution to what they described as just an overwhelming number of geese that were, creating a nuisance in their neighborhood.
Police Chief Dennis Otterness says the new ordinance came about after some residents in the city complained about the birds being a nuisance in some neighborhoods after people left food out for the birds. Otterness says community service members would most likely be handling enforcement. Hanging bird feeders are still allowed to be used as long as they hang at a height that no less than 5 feet off the ground. First-time offenders would face fines ranging from $50 to $100. Repeat offenders, however, could be fined up to $1,000. If you live in West Fargo, you can expect a change in a parking ordinance that would see fines going up with a new system implemented. West Fargo City Commissioners approved a change that would now, instead of having your vehicle impounded after not paying tickets, would instead lead to an electronic citation that would see fines increase from $20 up to $45 after 30 days of delinquency. After 30 days, a wheel immobilization device, or boot, will be placed on your car and would stay on until the penalties and a $50 wheel immobilization device release fee is paid. More details on the change can be found on our website. Governor Doug Burgum on Wednesday delivered his executive budget address, pitching his spending plan for the next biennium, totaling $18.4 billion.
And North Dakota right now, on the plus side, is attracting a level of economic investment in value-added energy, value-added agriculture, technology, beyond anything we've ever seen in recent history.
The governor's proposed budget would raise spending by nearly 3.5% over the current 2-year budget. The plan also includes a $5.9 billion general fund. The proposed budget would be the highest in state history. The governor says the state's balance sheet, quote, has never been stronger. The plan also includes more than $3 billion for road, bridge, and water projects. And Cass County deputies are helping the Fargo Salvation Army with its Red Kettle campaign. Deputies served as bell ringers at several area businesses yesterday. Businesses included Hornbachers on 13th Avenue South, Cashwise on 33rd Street Southwest, and Cashwise at 33rd Avenue East. The deputies rang bells from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. This is Ty Schellner to WDAY and WDAYRadioNow.com. More of The Jay Thomas Show coming up.
The weather is brought to you by Sweet Shots in Fargo. Enjoy their new happy hour in the lounge. Half-price apps and $3 taps. House wine and White Claws Monday through Thursday, 3:30 to 6:30 at Sweet Shots.
It's Big Game, James McCarty. In this 60-second sports, it is brought to you by Valley Pre-Owned. NDSU Bison Volleyball senior outside hitter Syra Tanchin has earned AVCA North All-Region Honorable Mention honors. This season, she racked up a career-high 447 kills while also becoming only the 9th Bison in the Division I era to surpass 1,000 career kills with her career total of 1,209 kills. Bison football senior fullback Hunter Lipke has been ruled out for the remainder of the season. The Bison star suffered a shoulder injury in a game against Southern Illinois in November, and after a second opinion will have surgery to repair an injured right shoulder. Lipke does have 1 year of eligibility remaining if he chooses to use it. Stay tuned to WDAY Radio tonight from 6:30 to 8 for primetime sports. We'll be joined by NDSU Bison senior safety Michael Tutsi and Moorhead Spud boys hockey head coach John Ammerman. This sports hit was presented by Valley Pre-Owned. You can't buy the wrong car at Valley Imports Pre-Owned.
You can always count on Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Always crisp, always easy drinking, always just right. The perfect balance of flavor and refreshment since 1903. Welcome to the High Life. 2019 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Celebrate responsibly.
You can trust your car to us at United Automotive Tech Center.
Is your car ready for cold winter weather? See the experts at United Automotive Tech Center. United Automotive has been serving the FM area for over 90 years. Get your car fixed right the first time, on time, with United Automotive Tech Center. Now with 3 locations, 2 in Fargo and 1 in West Fargo.
Expert repairs from people who care. United Automotive Tech Center.
More of the Jay Thomas Show in 60 seconds.
We've got Brian in studio from Collins and Cronk Raymond James.
Brian, I was visiting with my girlfriend the other day, and she's just a few years from retirement. She was wondering if she can still retire if there's a recession just around the corner.
This is why planning is so important. When Collins and Cronk does a financial plan for you, we look at several different scenarios. We consider the positives or the good times, as well as the bad. What if there is a recession? We do the math so we can answer your questions with confidence. We want to help you make smart decisions like when to retire or what investments to use.
Whether it's a recession or an economic boom, Collins and Cronk can help you make the right decisions. If you have $500,000 or more, call Collins and Cronk in Fargo today. 701-235-0119, 701-235-0119. Securities are offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. Collins & Cronk is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.
Today's Jay Thomas Show is sponsored by JK Property Partners, delivering dreams by opening doors.
.440 Jay Thomas Show. Free Car Wash Wednesday, by the way. Tommy's Custom Express Car Wash, 33,000 locations in the metro area. It's crazy how much they've grown.
Yeah, first thing when Gary said I'm doing readings for a car
Tommy's.
wash. Yeah,
We
exactly.
got Tommy's Custom Car Wash. Before we get out of here at 5 o'clock, we'll let you experience Tommy's Custom Express Car Wash. Let's go out to Foreman. Dan, you're up on the Jay Thomas Show in the winter weather outlook special, buddy.
Last week of February, driving to Arizona, what it's going to be like.
Do you have room in the car?
Long drive.
Yeah. We'll find it.
That looks at end of February. That's when we'll see that cold snap come in here. A few clipper systems.
Oh, you're leaving perfect timing.
Yeah. So driving southward, I think it looks okay. Justin, you see anything different?
I think it should be all right.
Yep.
Good. No room. I got a lot of golf clubs. So.
There you go, man. There you go, brother. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Back to the emails. If I fly from Fargo to Chicago February 10th, what's the weather going to be like?
Looks like a good little window.
Even for Chicago.
I know, right?
Okay, here we go. Another email from Jeff here. Jay, didn't catch the details on the storm next week. I plow snow for Otter Tail County, and I am located in Vergas, Minnesota. How much are we going to get? We really haven't talked about amounts.
The heaviest will be to your west, from the valley westward. We'll see the heaviest.
How much are we thinking?
Quite a bit.
What's quite a bit? Don't be vague.
Yeah, we double
Don't
digits.
be like all these other
All right,
meteorologists. You
here's-
guys have the technology, the knowledge.
Here's
Don't be
an
vague.
amount
Just
for
tell
you.
us.
How about anywhere from 6 to 24
Yeah,
inches of
okay.
snow? Probably
More than
maybe.
6.
2 to 78.
How's more than 6?
More than 6?
It looks like a foot would be a bet.
Are we in? So we're in double digits, is what you're thinking.
We might
Now
be
again,
in double.
this
digits.
ship. Now there's gonna be a rain snow line that's gonna be.
Wait, whoa.
There's gonna be a-
No, stop. I didn't hear anything about rain.
Let me
I do not want to have to go through this chip and a bust and
Right, I
ice
know.
thing again.
No, there would be a rain snow line close to us. I think it'll be in the South Dakota, North Dakota border over into western Minnesota. But I think it's going to be close, but eventually it's going to change over to all snow anyway.
We'll get more detail on it through the rest
the next
of this
couple of
week,
days.
you know,
Next
it's
couple of days.
still-
Again, like Gary said, this went south in the first cycle. It wouldn't surprise us if it goes south again. I don't think it's going to go far enough south to
escape
the snow, but to escape the heaviest snow.
So when you
It
say-
might. And now by heaviest, this is going to be one of those 12 to 18-inch snowstorms that somebody gets hit pretty hard with.
When you say the rain snow line somewhere on the North Dakota, South Dakota
Pretty
line,
close.
et cetera. Yeah.
Far southern valley, maybe south of Siston.
So Summit, which sucks in July when you go through there and it's trying to storm. So that seems accurate. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. Jessica, West Fargo, Jay Thomas Show.
Yeah, we're flying out on February 3rd. Curious what the weather will be like then.
Flying out of Fargo, right?
Yep,
Okay.
Think you're good.
Looks okay.
Looks good. Where are you going?
perfect. Cancun
Ooh, when are you coming back?
on the 8th,
How's that look?
actually. Yep.
It's one of those maybe
That's one of those maybe storms on 7th and 8th.
Oh, yeah, because that would suck to be stuck in Cancun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, pretty bad.
No. Do you really want to hear the bad news for that week in Cancun? I'm kidding.
No.
You have no idea. There. Cancun, it's always nice. There you go. There you go.
Thanks, guys.
You bet. Thanks, Jessica. Cindy out in Castleton, Jay Thomas Show, Winter Weather Outlook.
Hello, I'm looking what the weather's going to be the last week of January, like the 25th, 26th, going to Arizona and getting out of here.
Good for you.
Getting your party on, baby.
I've got it quiet those few days leaving.
Yeah, I see us slowly
You do.
getting out of a cold snap in January.
Awesome. Awesome. That's what I like to hear. I don't care about when we come back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Although last year when Alex and I came back from Florida, we're coming in, it's like, are you kidding me? Snowstorm. I was
go
like,
figure.
heavy, wet. I get home, it's like, oh, come on. You got to be kidding me. All right, Joy Cancun, Cindy. Let's go down to Breckenridge. Ryan, Jay Thomas Show. What is going on?
Flying out on the 9th of January and coming back the 13th.
Where are you flying to?
Vegas.
Oh, there you go.
Looks good. That's a quiet period of the LRC cycle.
We should talk. We should
7th and 8th.
We should talk off air about some sports bets when you're.
There you go, Ryan. Question for Dean or Justin. I've got grandparents driving from Cedar City, Utah for Christmas break. Wondering what it'll look like December 21st and 22nd from Cedar City to Moorhead. That'll be going through Nebraska, and then the 27th through the 28th going back the same way.
Coming in might be some difficult driving conditions. Again, that's that maybe storm that will more than likely affect just south of us. It's maybe for us here in Fargo.
Oh, wait,
I think it'll definitely hit down in
28th
Nebraska.
though, wasn't that another one?
27th and 28th.
That's when they're going back.
That's our bigger storm. The one when you leave is that maybe storm that usually probably goes south of us. The coming back storm is the more likely signature storm to hit us.
Oh, Nate, not a good choice. Not a good
in and
choice.
out. Oof.
Driving to Lake Havasu, Arizona, the last week of Arizona. Okay.
Nice.
We'll be going through Denver. Cindy, driving to Lake Havasu, Arizona, the last week of Arizona. Sorry, can't help you on that one. You'll have to
last week of what?
You'll have to email me, Cindy, on that one.
Will there be anybody left in North Dakota
No.
as you all are on vacation?
They're all leaving. Alex and I, we leave every year, week in March, and now that I'm traveling for rides, we're heading down south. 3 times we're heading down south, man. We're getting out. And then Hot Tub Vinny's got his home in Florida now. He wants Alex and I to come and spend the entire month of January
at
his lake home. That's what he's saying. I don't think Steve and Scott are going to go for that. Beautiful home right on the beach, Clearwater. It's like, come on, dude. Out to Cooperstown, Jerry, Jay Thomas Show.
Yes, I do snow removal for a living, and we're headed to Texas on January 23rd to the 27th. Is there what's going on then?
Good call. Let's see. I have you guys written down for a significant storm system.
No, 23rd through the 27th?
The week of the 23rd.
Yes, January.
Justin?
I think at the end of January is
End
where
of
we see
January.
that good chunk or a better chance for a big storm at the end of January.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that's where I got it written. Yeah,
around the 27th, the 31st.
That's what I got. Yeah.
Okay, hopefully we're back by then.
Yeah, you should be good. You come back, you make all kinds of money, pay for that trip, man.
That's right.
Out to New York Mills. Wayne, you're up. Jay Thomas Show, Winter Weather Outlook.
Yeah, first week in February in Fort Myers.
Fort Myers, Florida.
The weather in Fort Myers?
Yes.
Shoot me any. Again, those are if it's out of state. If it's like way out of state, we would have to. We've got all that stuff back in our weather office. We can't. We
That's
don't
analysis we'll have to.
Yeah, it's analysis that we'd have to do for if it's anywhere out of state, like out of state,
out of region.
Shoot us an email, weather@flagfamily.com.
Weather at flagfamily.com.
We'll take care of you.
Shoot them an email. We'll take care of you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Hi, Karen. Hold on. Let me get the manager. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding, Karen. Karen, you're up. Jay Thomas Show.
Hi, we're driving from Fargo to Minneapolis and flying out of Minneapolis and then coming back on January 6th and coming back on January 13th. Wondering what the weather would be between here and Minneapolis.
So you're flying out of Minneapolis. You're leaving here on the 6th?
Yeah, we're driving from Fargo to Minneapolis and flying out of Minneapolis and then on January 6th and then doing the same trip back on the 13th.
Okay, so driving on the 6th.
That's one of the quiet parts of the cycle.
Yeah,
looks like.
Yeah, that first week of January would be cold and possibly active, but right when you're supposed to leave, that's supposed to stop.
Wonderful.
Yep, you should be good. You should be good, Karen. Trevor, Jay Thomas Show.
Hey Jay, a little late to the party here. Just curious, the biggest wind storm. So like wind and snow mix. Like what would be the biggest wind conditions? Appreciate it.
There's going to be a few of them.
Yeah, there's going to be more than one.
Let's start off with next week would be one.
Be a good one.
We could have another one there 27th, 28th of December, so right after Christmas. And then we'll get those stiff winds with the Clipper systems, assuming those affect the area that first week in January.
Now, as you said, we're also expecting normal snowfall, but if we have areas where we don't have a lot of snow cover and you get those winds, that's going to blow a lot of soil particles around.
It is, yeah. So we've got to make sure the areas generally to our north have the, and they will, they'll get the thicker snowpack here.
Okay.
Not too worried about it.
Another email from Bruce. How do you get the weekly newsletters?
From Gary?
From
Gary. You go to his website, and Michael, maybe you can throw that on the screen if you still got it. It's www.weather2020.substack.com. You can sign up for a free subscription where it's kind of just, minimalized. Here's what's going on around the area. $50 a month or $300 a year will get you the more in-depth forecast on what's going on around the area and those newsletters that he'll usually do every week or 2 weeks.
Weather2020.substack.com. Let's see. Another email. So the storm next week, is it going to be snow and wind or just snow, or how's it going to go?
Wind.
Snow and wind.
Snow and wind.
There will be
wet snow and wind.
Yeah, there will be blizzard conditions somewhere in the Dakotas, north and south. So if you have any travel plans next week in North or South Dakota, stay up to date on the forecast. There will be blizzard or blizzard-like conditions, without a doubt.
Okay, boy, this is getting pretty precise here. Right. Hey, when would you suspect the last frost in the spring? I need to set posts for my deck to put in my outdoor sauna that Jay's wife, Alex, convinced my wife we needed to have.
Justin, you've got the temp map over there.
You see, I only went out to the middle of April, but
So not then.
Shoot me an email. I'll get back to you on it. I don't want to throw out a date without going back and looking at data further than halfway through.
Weather at flagfamily.com, correct?
Correct.
All right, traveling to the cities, guys. Minneapolis dates January 26th, coming back on February 3rd.
Leaving should be okay.
When are they leaving?
26th?
Yep, coming back the 3rd of February.
Yeah, there'll be probably a good storm system right after you leave, and then it looks quiet and mild when you come back.
Look at this guy. He thinks he's clever. After the next storm, how many more days until that storm hits again?
Hey.
Nice try, Kenny. Nice try, buddy. Good luck. Sorry.
We've gotten quite a few emails into our inbox here from a lot of people asking about out-of-state travel, like what's the weather going to be like in Arizona during this time period. Jennifer just emailed me. Jennifer, I will just personally email you back because, again, if it's anything out of state, we have to do more analysis on it. We don't have that click of the button like Gary has.
Yeah.
So we'll do some more analysis on that and get back to you sometime either probably this week.
Gloria, Gloria. Hello, Jay Thomas Show.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. The weather that you're talking about for next week, which way is the wind coming from?
It's going to be coming from the southeast and east and then switching to the north and northwest.
Okay. Can you kind of give me a day where that's going to happen? The wind
is going to start late in the day, probably overnight Monday, and it'll peak Tuesday into Tuesday night, and then it'll be just windy on Wednesday and gradually subsiding into Thursday.
Kind of a long stretch.
It's going to be a 2 to 3 day storm system. It's not moving very quick. There's still time for things to change a little bit, so just stay up to date with it over the next few days as we get more model runs on it.
Yeah, and it's going to be strong wind?
There'll be strong winds, 20 to 40.
Oh, okay. Thank you so very, very much.
You bet.
Welcome.
Thanks, Gloria. One more. Scott in Portland, Jay Thomas Show.
Hi, Jay.
Hey,
I'm planning on going down to Gulf Shores in end of February. Have you got it out that far? We're going to leave the 23rd and come back March 3rd, I think it is.
Going down should be okay. Driving?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
When's he coming back?
March what? 3rd?
3rd.
Should be all right.
I think it's 3rd and 4th we'll be driving back.
Looks quiet.
You're leaving right at the tail end of that cold
snap.
clipper system.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? How about that? There you go. You're good to go. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. All right. One more. Tyler, Jay Thomas Show.
April 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, come back on the 20th.
Where are you going?
All right.
Where are you going?
Tulum, Mexico.
Why do we even do a talk show in the wintertime here? There's nobody here in the wintertime.
Because they stream you online,
Oh, there
Jay.
you go. There you go.
Look, he looks fine. They're coming in right at the tail end of those clipper systems, and then that's a quiet part of the LRC cycle.
You look good, Ty.
Sweet. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, brother. Ronnie, Tommy's Custom Express Car Wash Wednesday, 3 convenient metro locations, free vacuuming with your wash. You can, hey, Christmas around the corner, you can get coupons, stuff stockings.
Download the app. Yep, bulk savings on coupons and washes.
What caller you want to do?
Let's do number 14.
Caller 14, you're going to experience Tommy's Custom Express Car Wash. You are going to love it. Want to thank Jiffy Lube for sponsoring this year's Winter Weather Outlook Special. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, locally owned and operated, 3 convenient Fargo locations. You never need an appointment. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy. Thank you, Jiffy Lube, for sponsoring us. We'll do another one in the spring.
We'll do another one in the spring. And again, everybody that emailed us at our Weather at Flag family account, Justin or myself will get back to you within the next few days to let you know more on your requests.
Right. And for those of you who did miss the first 1, 2, 3 hours of the special, it is up on our website, WDAYradionow.com, our YouTube page, YouTube 970M, as well as Facebook.
All right.
And we'll share it to a few other spots.
Awesome. We got to go. Got to get Outer News coming up. Dean, thank you. Bridgette, thank you. Gary, thank you. Thank you, Justin. Out of here. Back tomorrow at 2. News is next.
Time now for Focus on the Field Ag News, brought to you by Hess Corporation.
A veterinarian says porcine